It's finals day, baby. We're here at MSI. We got a couple semifinals to get through first, but it all comes down to this one final day. Your first semifinal matchup, NIP versus SSG. Gore, that's a matchup that's it's gone NIP's way the last couple of times they've played, but the most recent time was 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, and 4-3.
Yeah,
all going the way of
all
NIP.
4-3s.
It's going to be a fun one.
It was an interesting split because, again, for anyone who maybe wasn't as in with it, SSG didn't show up, for the first 3 weeks. They weren't able to get here, so they had a lot of games to make up. And because of that, the schedule actually ended up being that they played NIP, I think, week 6 and then week 7. Like, you played them 2 times within 2 weeks of each other. You didn't get to learn as much. And so it was it all goes NIP's way. But the last time it's at least a little closer. But they've only played across 5 maps. They played 3 maps at the same time. So this is going to be interesting because they're back in best of 7 territory. And it really does come down to, I want to say, map bans and just if SSG are feeling themselves.
Well, you take a look at the way the finals bracket has played out up to this point. 3-0 for NIP yesterday, 3-1 for SSG, 3 straight after falling in map number 1. The eye kind of goes down to that not as sincere Penta matchup, though. 3-0 for Penta. That's going to seat them up against Virtus Pro, who 3-1 Envy yesterday. It's going to be a fun day, Gore Miser. I absolutely cannot wait to see how it all plays out. But let's dive in. Let's talk about NIP. What we saw out of them yesterday was just controlling the flexibility we saw from their roster. That's been sort of their key up to this point throughout this season. And what was interesting enough is normally it's, Bittner's kind of going off onto those weird picks left and right, but Alex yesterday was the one playing some of the more blastery flex champions.
And that was the interesting thing. Like, we've seen Alex picking up the Eevee a ton. We've seen him play Drogas in the past, but like you said, normally we see maybe more flexibility from Bittner. I mean, he's got a picture with how many champions he's played all put together. And so seeing Alex be kind of the big flex right now has been probably the biggest thing. And it's also just showcasing, I think, the biggest important fact about NIP, and that is that they have 2 carries that can do it all the time, whenever, wherever, with whatever you give them. So that is strength, just in and of itself. When you're playing on LAN, when you're playing against teams that either know you or maybe don't know you since yesterday, I mean, Sour Team, I want to say, falls in the middle, probably has gotten some scrims against NIP. You can flex onto whatever you want. I mean, he played Dredge.
Right. That's not... Well, they played him on Ice Mines, right? It might have been Alex even playing Dredge. I think at this point, though, if you were to, Bittner has the picture of all the champions that he plays. If you were to take a picture of the NIP champion pool, it would just be the champions select screen. It would just be all of the champions. On the opposite side, though, as far as frontline versus backline play, though, you have to look at Bonkar. Diggy Dog really fills that aggressive, in-your-face, off-tank role, but Bonker can do it a little bit as well, and his flexibility shouldn't be unstated. He's comfortable on the Inara. You can put him on the Barrack as well, but if you need a Torvald in the game, he can fill those shoes just as fine.
The whole team loves to meme Bonker and say that he has the smallest champion pool, that all he ever does is feed, things like that. But it's one of those things that when he did play Lex, actually, he's maybe flexed the most out of all of them, going from frontlines to Lex. But he's playing your Inara, he's playing your Barrack. But the thing is he's playing it at such a high level, and he's executing it, again, so many, I want to say macro things that are very small that you aren't going to notice as much. But every single one of them is making sure they control the game just as hard, if not harder, than they would have before. So he's one of those players that, what champions he's looking for, but you're not going to stop him.
And this is a team where, the players themselves have, found a little success at LAN, but they haven't really made that full run. So I'm sure a lot of them will want to win this one, get for some of them to their first finals performance. To see how Diggy Dog, one of those guys, is feeling, let's send it down to an interview.
Thank you guys so much down here in the NIP booth with young Diggy Dog. This is a big game for you, man. I mean, this would be your first final of International LAN. I think you guys are looking like a pretty strong favorite. Is any of that stuff kind of weighing on your mind today?
Not really. I think I've had enough experience now. It doesn't really affect me too much.
Do you think playing in this space all season long has done a lot for kind of LAN nerves for the PPL teams? Does this just feel like another day in the office for y'all?
Well, yeah, I think so. For me personally, we play here basically every other week, so it helps.
Has that come up for Tenor or for anyone else? Because really, it's been a long time or not at all that anyone on this team has won an international event.
I don't know. I don't think anyone really brings that stuff up because, I don't know, we are pretty confident either way, but it has been a while since Bonker and Bird are the only ones who've actually won a LAN, I guess.
Yeah. It's been a while. Tenor needs to break that curse today. Good season's online, but you need to finish now. What are your expectations for the rest of this bracket, man? Yesterday was wild, upsets left and right. I imagine you guys kind of do your own predictions as far as what you're trying to prepare for, but what changes now that there's been so many big upsets and you're likely to have to face very different teams?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't really change too much overall. Like, we still are going to go into each match like these people are good, you know.
Right.
Just because the other team, like Na'Vi and Envy, for example, they didn't make it through doesn't mean they're not good or something because they had an off day, but it doesn't really change too much, and we're prepared to go against anyone pretty much.
Okay. Cool. Well, congratulations on making it thus far, and I wish you the best in making it to the finals. Let's get it back up to the desk and get ready to talk to SSG.
Well, NIP will be feeling good because the only two teams they lost to throughout the PPL split are no longer in the tournament.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have to go up against Envy. They're not going to have to go up against Na'Vi. And obviously Comfort, I mean, he mentioned some of the guys on his team that have, sort of been here, done that as far as international lands go. But a few of them they're going to be trying to push that for the first time.
And I think it was kind of pointed out in a really good way, and that's just looking at NIP, looking at SSG. Both of these teams, have players that have trouble breaking into the finals when it comes down to it. For Diggy, it would be his first. But I mean, Na'Vi and Envy are the international lands of the last year. So starting with HRX last year, Na'Vi, then spring, summer, Na'Vi. Finals you go into, World Championship you get Envy. So for for a lot of these teams, specifically maybe SSG here, semis is a place they're used to seeing, but they're always knocked out by one of those two teams.
They're going to look to push through today, going up against the first seed, of course, in NIP, who we already talked about. And Mitau's a good guy, I think, to put a magnifying glass on, because yesterday, they're on the opposite side, but you saw how huge of an impact Vex had on some of those Virtus Pro games. But we can't even forget about Mitau's performance yesterday. He played, like you said, out of his mind, and he'll look to do more of the same today.
It was just insane. And this was actually, I think, really big. Pulling out the Furia for them is something that they don't do too often, really, on SSG. I would count, and even looking at yesterday's games, most of the time they were on Moldova. Well, 50% of the time, since there's only 4 there. But that's what we've seen Mitau play more often than not. That's what most of the supports in the league will play. Obviously, there's the period where Genos was kind of reigning supreme, but having a Furia player that makes an impact at this level means there's another threat on the board, which makes it so that, again, your bans have to be more targeted than ever. Just banning Makoa Atlas, yes, it stops them from getting quote-unquote power picks, but they're still going to be able to run over you.
Mike was ahead of his time with the aggressive Furia play.
He knew it.
I think he knew where the meta was going. Of course, Ares, he's a guy not only we kind of zone in on, but sort of the community at large is kind of zoned in on Ares on this squad. He's I think shifted into the meta very well, and he plays off Freeze God, I think, in a very good way. And that his flexibility sort of matches that of Freeze God. He'll play the Maeve if Freeze God needs to flex onto the Leon, which is exactly what happens in this case, but the Tyra, Vivian, sort of Victor meta is something that he's leaned into very well.
And that was actually the thing that kind of was, I want to say, more interesting than anything yesterday, is we saw only one Tyra coming out of SSG. There was a lot of Maeve, and it flopped between who was playing it the entire time. I think we even saw Ares play Sha Lin yesterday, which is normally something that Freeze God picks up when they pick it. So, showing, I think, flexibility that was distinctly lacking for SSG during their online split during the first half of this year. So, being able to go through regular season and pick up these champions one by one has been, I think, incredibly important for SSG's success.
I agree. They're going to be feeling good coming into today. I mean, you drop the one map, but you win 3 straight. I think the momentum, the wind's at their back a little bit to say, well, he's not with us today. Kresnik is obviously coaching SSG, hoping to reach the finals. To hear how he's feeling, send it down to an interview.
Thank you, guys. Down here now with Spacestation Game. A familiar face this tournament, the coach, Kresnik, ready to rock and roll against NIP. Yesterday was wild, man. A lot of upsets. But you guys are against, one of the other PPL teams here, one of the very, very veteran PPL teams. with a great record, especially against you guys. You haven't historically done very well against this team. What are you guys looking to change and attack today?
Well, if you look at it historically, right, like you said, first game, we got pretty dominated. I mean, we can admit that. Second game, 4-0, but all 4 threes.
Right.
Follow the trend.
Yeah.
It's looking okay for us, honestly.
Yeah, taking a map potentially. And I asked NIP kind of the same question. Obviously, your sights have to be set on this match for right now. But given the way the bracket has gone on the bottom side with all the upsets with Penta and VP, I imagine you guys do your own predicting to some extent. Does that change? Does your preparation, what you guys are looking to do for those teams at the bottom side of the bracket have to change now as well?
At the end of the day, you're really trying to play your own game no matter what. Like, you're practicing the same thing. And drafts, maybe, like draft preference, 1 or 2 changes in like priority and characters, but the overall game plan I don't think changes too much.
Gotcha, man. Well, best of luck against NIP. It's not going to be an easy one, but they stand between you and the finals. Let's get it back up to the desk and get this set started.
We got interviews in the books, which means next we got to go to maps and picks and bans. But before all that, Kresnik's feeling confident. I think they should be. I love his comment. The first game was a steamroll. Second one was all 4 threes.
Closer.
So this one, they'll maybe come out on top with a few wins. But this is going to be a fun set, Core.
I think it's going to be interesting because, again, even though there's only been 8 games between these two teams, there were weeks post that where SSG just got to sit back and watch it. And I almost got it right. I wrote in map bans because historically, NIP only banned Splitstone and Warders. SSG have been banning Ice Mines and Frozen, but that's also very, very strong against NIP. But no, they had to change it up. They had to ban Ascension Peak. They had to take it from me, Dave.
Well, you were pointing out a stat to me in the 8 games that these two teams have, right, the last two times these teams have met up, they've played only 5 different maps, 3 of which were the same, and then there's one sort of flex on either side. Was Brightmarsh in the pool?
Yeah, it was actually, so they've played, both sets they played Serpent Beach, Jaguar Falls, and Frog Isle. The first set they played Frozen Guard. Did not go very well for SSG. Second set they banned it, and they played Brightmarsh for map number 4. Again, it was a 4-3, but a 4-3 is still a loss.
That's right. At the end of the day, in the loss column, Bomb King coming out here, a little targeted ban on Freeze God, not the Eevee. Brightmarsh, although that's not bad, I don't think. You saw what he was able to do on the Bomb King yesterday. Maybe it was Simsaloo on Brightmarsh. Either way, it's a very potent champion in this matchup. Torvald, though, if history teaches us anything, giving NIP Torvald is not a good idea.
I mean, literally just yesterday, Torvald, Brightmarsh, game 1. This was the combination they needed. They don't get Makoa this time, so it's probably not going to be quite as strong, but it's still Torvald, and it's still on one of the best teams. And that's actually, looking at one of the notes I had for the last set, I was looking at week 7, one of the things I wrote was just, SSG seemed okay to let Torvald through, and it was twice the day before, whoever they were playing. I think it was against Virtus Pro. So they are not a team that is stressed as much about Torvald as I think maybe they should be. So this game is going to be maybe kind of like the divining rod pointing towards, yes, you need to ban Torvalder.
Right.
No, maybe you can keep letting him through.
Well, they're going to feel comfortable with a Pip on their side. And, throughout the split, he's a champion that we've said, only a handful of teams really like going to the Pip because it's such a individual performance-based champion, because that's sort of a lot of the playstyle. These skirmishes, you're kind of off on your own. Obviously, you have a little burst healing for yourself. So you can operate almost as an individual unit a lot of the time. SSG is a team that it doesn't necessarily surprise me seeing them go to the Pip, but it's not like if NIP picked Pip, that would be like, oh, of course, they're very comfortable. SSG, if I'm remembering correctly, hasn't leaned into the Pip quite as much, but if anyone can play it, it would be Freeze God. I'm sure if Ares wants to flex onto the Pip, he could do it as well. And he's good here on Brightmarsh.
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen him play Pip. Like, I'm sure I have to have it at some point, but like you said, it's not something that comes through very often. And that makes it interesting already. That makes it feel kind of like we're taking this because Torvald plus Pip with NIP's hands, that is a dangerous game to be playing on Brightmarsh. But it's one of those, did you pick it to take it away from him, or did you pick it because you can play it? Because if you're getting both at the same time, that's good. But if you're giving up your ability to perform as highly as you could to make sure they don't have it, you will suffer from it.
And the conversation of yesterday was sort of, if you pick Torvald, that means one of your frontline players kind of has to flex into this weird hybrid role of pocketing one of your damage dealers. Bonker is probably the guy who will pick up that Torvald for NIP, leaving Diggy Dog on the Ashe, which is one of his favorite champions.
Yeah.
And Ashe actually got first pick a good bit yesterday, sort of counteracting the Khan when both of them were unbanned. It was almost Ashe Khan or Khan Ashe is sort of 1 and 2 picks across the board. So seeing her fall, I guess that would have been to 5th pick there. Sort of interesting in my eyes. And Genos, Torvald Genos, didn't even think about him still being on the board. That's a potent combination.
Honestly, this kind of composition, especially with the Maeve, this is NIP. Well, playing NIP better than NIP normally does. We're going to go aggressive. We have Ashe to create space, Genos to give a Luminary boost to the Maeve and the Leon, Maeve to be able to jump around and cause a lot of damage and just distress, and now you add the Torvald bubble into the mix. Like, this is just all aggressive while still being able to be a decently defensive team. Like, they don't really give anything up while, I think, tackling everything that fits their style really well.
I would assume it's Alex on the Maeve because we saw Bittner playing a good bit of Leon yesterday. So that's something to keep your eye on, depending on which person is playing which champion. I would assume it goes that way with Bittner on Leon and Alex on the Maeve. And Bittner played Leon fantastically yesterday. It was very painful to be going up against. SSG looking to round out their composition. They already have a blaster. We've seen double blaster comp, so it wouldn't be too surprising to see it, but it's going to be the Cassie to round out their lineup. A little extra shield burst once that Wrecker starts to come online, trying to deal with some of the amplification that NIP are bringing to the table. NIP, I think, will be very confident with the lineup that they've brought. They love that aggressive play style. They've got a composition that really caters to that. Game 1, Gormizer, which way you leaning?
I'm leaning towards NIP. I think SSG have the tools to deal with the bubbles. I just don't think it's going to get dealt with the way they want it to.
Well, it's going to be a fun one, maybe the most contested matchup of the day. This one starts off maybe a trip to the finals for one of these two teams. Let's dive into Game 1. Let's send it down to your casters.
Thank you so much, Dave and Gore. We are excited here to get ready in our first game of the day. My name is Randy, and I'm joined by Mr. Hair, or Pretty Hair, as you can already see. It's almost no need to say pretty because it's obvious right there. Nick, how do you feel about these two lineups, man? These are two great teams having some great times here at this tournament.
Definitely. And sometimes I get the feeling like in these drafts, especially when you see something like an early pip for Space Station, it's clearly something for this set in particular.
Yeah.
But I always, especially given what Kresnik said to me in the interview about playing their game right off the bat, kind of getting some notes of they're taking things away from NIP. They're worried about the team sitting across from them rather than playing what they've been so successful on to get to this point.
It's so interesting to see how these two teams with great drafting minds, great coaches around them, great just experienced players are now going to have to adjust even further. Because when you're playing at someone at your own level, mechanically, that's one thing. Mentally, that's another. There's so much of the outsmarting game that's always shifted in the favor of NIP, but Space Station Gaming have been effortless in their way of dominating yesterday, and they look to continue to do so, but it will be against staunch competition, that is for sure. Richao, though, with a first blood, he strikes the crucial blow, and that will eventually be traded right back. Bittner finding Ares, but it is a very tenuous fight here between a Maeve and a Pip, and if Alex doesn't win this one, it could be trouble.
Mid-air slow. That matters. I mean, Mitao sees that he's slowed out mid-air, manages to get the angle, get the push. Nobody on the objective because it's a very bloody fight. Either way you slice it. Diggy Dog does manage to take down the support for Space Station Gaming, so that could set them up to actually supplant themselves onto the point here, become in a better spot, but it's already 45% and climbing for NIP. Torvald Leon did not rip Space Station apart the early onset, which is a very good sign.
And this is what Space Station Gaming absolutely want, but a big kill on the bunker. Richao has done very, very well. Not sure if he's fallen at all throughout this game. FRZ God has been so hard to deal with. That Pip on Brightmarsh. Give the man a little bit of home field advantage, why don't you? Alex having to work very hard to find the angles, and so far he hasn't found it. 4-0 for the front line.
Yeah, this is not going well. I mean, Bonker, I was surprised he got pushed down as quickly and aggressively as he had. Very nice rotations over here from Ares to make sure that they deal with Alex. They don't want to let him win this 1v1 with Freeze God, but Freeze doesn't look like he barely needs any help. A small Void Grip is nothing but a speed bump here for SSG.
This is dangerous territory for sure. NIP getting a little lackluster on the start, but that's okay. This has always been a very good map for SSG. It's been great for Freeze God in so many different moments. Some of the incredible plays this man has had on Leon on this map, on Drogos, forget about it. Some of those hits that just say that man is not of this world.
And this is double point front line from SSG. They have Barrack, they have Inara, they have a high throughput healer in Furia. They also have Pip. I mean, for crying out loud, they have a very strong early game composition. 4 chickens, only 1 fried, but the rest will follow suit very quickly. Tenor and Alex, though, managing to finally put something together for NIP.
And that's what they need to do. This Leon is relatively a powerhouse. I mean, that's a great way to say it, Nick. Over the course of these last few days, she has carried the weight of a lot of the damage for most compositions she is on, but she hasn't had to go up against the Pip very often, and that just shuts down a lot of the instant burst mobility. When you're explosive fast, you can manifest destiny, but you're still slowed the second you get there, and it just feels like she loses a lot of her burst speed.
Potential for some lockdown here. Inara throws up the Earthen Guard. This push is slowed down tremendously. Midnight is called. The wall goes up. You can see the effect Midnight has is very clear on a team. SSG Splinter, when everything goes dark, they're throwing up walls. Nice heal and help from Mid-Tow. Aries manages to clutch up that 1v1 with Alex. And again, a lot of skirmishing here in the mid-round. Tenor puts Enlightenment right up into FRZ God, and he's getting some help from Torvald. This is what you want to see happen. Bonker's been, dove relentlessly since the start of this game. He just hasn't had the time to stay alive and support Tenor.
And I think that's how you have to deal with, obviously, a Torvald composition. You got to get rid of Torvald. He's the cause. The effect is the Leon, but if you take away the cause, the effect will not be the same. And that's something that Spacestation know they can manage. A Torvald-bubbled Leon firing freely at will without any pressure, that is not something anybody in Paladins, probably anybody in the world, could handle really well. 25 seconds now on the clock as Alex picks up a big kill on the Ares. This is something we saw yesterday where a lot of success to capture a point from Kanga, so to speak, but, excuse me, Virtus Pro, but there were moments when against Virtus Pro, Envy just couldn't get it done in terms of pushing, and that really showed the situation here. NIP looked to be doing the same.
Tenor drops another Enlightenment. He will grab the kill. Actually, it didn't look like he maybe got that off. His ultimate is still fully charged. 4 down for NIP. Lots of ultimates. It's too little too late. SSG get it done and back on the payload in time to start the overtime. So we will have to see one more fight. SSG behind, albeit slightly, in ultimate economy. NIP is going to look to hold his defense without spending a dime.
And that's important. Brightmarsh, though, one of the tricky things about it is, though, overtime has been going for a while. It is a very short push. So even though it's going for a while, you still can get it done within a decent allotted time. You've got to win about 2 fights, though, and that looks like they won probably 0.75 of 1 fight. Now NIP just closing things out. The Imminence, the slide into the Grace will do it, and it'll be a 1-1.
Very aggressive dive there, but that's what you can do when you have a Torvald backing you, and if you're Maeve, you just do that because that's what you do. Alex and Tenor, fearless in this matchup. They're getting a lot of they're bringing a lot of fights back from a dark place for NIP. And one last thing that I think Tenor did very well there, obviously hits the Enlightenment. That's not what's so special about NIP. They're min-maxing this situation. Tenor's like literally the only one that's shooting that Inara to clean her up. So not only does he get his 50% refund from landing the killing blow, but he gets all that, 3,000 or 4,000 leftover HP from Inara directly into charging his next Enlightenment. You'll see he's sitting back at 86%, a 10-3 round for Tenor. Again, this is a Torvald pocketing him composition. I almost want to tack on all of Bonker's deaths to Tenor Slash on, right? He's supposed to do well. He's supposed to carry this game.
Yep.
That's what it's designed to do. So if he is not, and Bonker's dying a lot, they're getting dove relentlessly, it's a little bit on Tenor as well. There's a lot of weight on his shoulders to win this game.
So you're saying Mixer Chat, don't just look at his deaths and judge his gameplay. I understand that completely. There you go. You've been warned. You have to look at more than that, but hopefully you are if you're watching the screen, as we are seeing Diggy Dog and Rachao go at it too. Definitely damaging front lines. He gets stunned before he can land. That could be a kill. He's trying to go up. He gets turned into a chicken. Jeez. What an up down for Diggy Dog. Are you kidding me? Tenor finds 3 though on top of it, and Alex is going to be able to clean up 81% for NIP. What a fight.
Definitely some frustration, though, on Diggy Dog's face, but it still goes their way, man. That's the way a lot of these fights, frankly, have started. Either Bonker or Diggy's dying, but Alex and Tenor use that time to get to their positions, to tee off on the rest of SSG. The frontliners buy enough time for the backliners to do what they need to do. Diggy, I would say not prone to tilting, but definitely is quick to show frustration Must just be the ginger in him. He's a fiery temper.
Fiery temper indeed there. 2 minutes now, and the push has already started to flow, and this is what we looked at. Even though that point was captured by SSG, Rachao had that 4-0 start, which is unusual for an Inara player, although Rachao's been playing lights out. NIP were able to stifle what was a real half-asserted push towards the end of overtime from Spacestation Gaming. Now NIP are off to the races. It feels like they have the better end of this matchup if they execute.
And those fights are a little bit demoralizing, man, because it happens so fast. I mean, a Torvald plus something, especially like Leon, who is a character that relies heavily on getting the eliminations. Tenor just got 3 of them. He is resetting his cool. He is overcoming the nerf to Leon and playing to her old strengths and doing what she used to be able to do without the need for the E-limbs. But as you feed this character, she just has the loadout and the base kit to sustain and to obliterate a team fight start to finish.
I mean, there's no other way to talk about it, Nick. Rachao going down, so much pressure happening. FRC got forced to use his Evil Mojo, and they will at least find a couple of kills, but Alex has been such a pain, and the Wings of Wrath will not do enough damage. They won't even get him to safety. He just misjudged that one, and Alex applying the pressure appropriately through time and space, attempting to push this through for NIP. It's most likely going to happen. There should be a chance for them to stall, but they've got to get a big kill, and they've got to get rid of Alex.
Well, they're trying to chew through Anar. Rachao finds the return kill on the Bonker. Important wall. And that's all it takes for NIP to call off the dogs for the time being. 30 seconds. Just a ruthless last minute of this Bright Marsh round. NIP are going at SSG as hard and as fast as they can.
You know,
thankfully able to kind of root your heels and turn it around.
Nick, yesterday there was so much that Ares did in round 1 for his team. It gave them a ton of confidence. I'm not sure if that wall was canceled or if it just broke very, very quickly. I feel like he just is not in a good spot. Rachao's going to fall as a result of it. Ares has not been able to keep up with Tenor and Alex at this point. Neither has FRZ got awful, although it was a very good start, and what an interesting role. The Hyper Beam is going to accomplish its goal. It's going to set up a 3-1 lead. And now the conversation of our infamous fast cap comeback mechanic can ensue, because it is now in SSG's favor.
Well, a lot's happening here. It's a nice flame, but a double presence, I mean. Winding up to grab himself the triple. A lot is happening when it comes to Tenor in this Torvald matchup. This is how it's supposed to go. It's very simple. I mean, look at the first point fight. SSG managed to squelch the aggression from this Torvald Leon, going so far as to kill them. It's that simple. NIP don't have anything else to win a team fight with, but if they don't, that's what happens. 20-4, Leon is back. The nerf made
20-4, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you have to get these eliminations.
Are you kidding me?
Let's pull up the loadout here as Tenor is fighting and just talk a little bit about how it functions, man.
What the heck, indeed. You're looking at all these resets, Nick, but part of it is the present arms healing. That's so impactful, as well as the shield. He's getting 400 health. He's also using that cooldown, hitting an enemy, which will scale off of how many enemies he hits, and it will go throughout everyone unless there's a shield or a wall in between them. Obviously, Inheritance giving him that extra cooldown reduction when he finds an actual elimination, which happens often thanks to the cleave. And as you can see, it's happening way too often for SSG to really have control in this game.
And it's big. This is a 15-second at base cooldown. It's reduced a little bit by the actual talent itself, and then further when you're actually hitting the target. So this 20% is significant. It's just under, I believe, 3 seconds. Here comes an Evil Mojo.
Oh my God.
That Evil Mojo needed to be the emergency break for SSG, but the value just was not there. And I think NIP have done it. I think they've cleaned up game 1.
That was disgusting. Tenor, oh my God. Somebody needs to stop that man, because he is on a roll. He's got the white keyboard. He's looking for his Dasani. You deserve a break, my friend, because that had to have been a 24-4 performance. 24-5 at least. SSG rightly stunned.
Yeah, man, that's a tough one to kick this off. But it's best of 7s, guys. We talked a lot about, during the regular season, these guys play a lot of best of 7s. So going to those best of 5s changes a good amount, because these sets can be over before you know it. SSG have got to stay focused. They have plenty of games left.
Yeah, there's a lot of time, so don't worry about it. They're going to go back to the drawing board, and we're going to go back to the desk to break it down.
Thank you, gentlemen. Game 1 almost is over as quickly as it started. Let me ask you a series of questions here, Gore.
Okay.
How do you feel about Leon at the moment, in the hands of Bittner?
In the hands of Bittner, she's amazing. Honestly, in the hands of
Leon.
anyone who used to play Leon, she still does really, really good. But Bittner just made her look S tier.
But then let's say you have Bittner in playing Leon, and then let's put a shield on you that also gives you 30% more damage. Does that sound interesting to you?
That does sound pretty good, Dave.
No, but wait, there's more. There's more, Goremizer.
Oh, yeah.
Let me give you some healing and a mark that gives you 15% more damage on your auto attacks. Is that something you might be interested in?
You know, I think you had me sold already.
I might have had you sold on
But just
Bittner
like
on Leon.
Billy Mays, you made this sound better and better with every sentence.
26-5. I mean, I'm sorry, Alex. 15-7 is good. That's great. He had a 38 kill performance on Vivian, so he still reigns supreme on Bright Marsh. But 26-5, 133,000 damage. Unreal. You're getting healing, you're getting shielding, and you're getting 45% more damage on your auto attacks. We almost saw it in the cards when we saw Torvald come out. Oh no, there's a Leon. That's a scary pair, Torvald-Leon. And then Genos was still left open. That one was almost written in the card score through picks and bans.
I mean, you can't make up 133,000 damage. Like, for a 4-1, that's just not...
Yeah, that's
you just
a
don't
fast
do
game.
that. That's
a fast
so
game.
much. I mean...
This game is we're at 11.5 and they're at 72%. I mean, this is like a 12-minute game. He got 133,000 damage.
Pretty much consistently 10,000 damage a minute. Like, that's just ridiculous to be able to keep up with. It was a ton of kills coming out for him as well, but, like, I was wondering, at the end of a certain point, Maeve, Alex is doing a ton of work in the terms of distractions. He's getting a lot of kills in the backline. But Bittner was still able to keep going and still able to kind of keep that rolling. Like, that's just one of those things, again, showcasing how do you make them feel uncomfortable. Evidently, I don't think Torvald is the answer. I think you need to shake that one up.
I feel like you almost just have to, learn from the fact that giving NIP Torvald and Genos and a good champion to put those boosts on is just scary. If you're SSG, maybe just move on from that. Adjust your picks and bans accordingly if you're going to let it through. Have an answer. We said Cassie, maybe some Wrecker would blow up those shields. The only thing that got blown up was the SSG lineup that time around. 4-1 is the way map 1 goes. They look to bounce back here on Serpent Beach. Another map I think that both teams are comfortable with. SSG likes themselves some Serpent Beach. They're going to ban out the Ashe this time around if their first pick, so technically they could leave open the Torvald or one of those hybrid tank picks and get them back on their side. So NIP now are in an interesting spot, at least ban-wise, without overanalyzing. If your second pick, you can maybe leave some of those tanks open and get one or two off to the side for yourself with second pick. And I'm sure NIP are certainly privy to that, but that last lineup just caters to everything NIP want. It's aggression, it's skill shots, it's direct damage across the board, beautifully played from NIP. They strike first. Remember, we're back to best of 7s today, so it's not first to 3, it's first to 4, so a little bit more wiggle room. These two teams are more used to those best of 7s in the PPL sets, so a little bit more comfort, a little bit more marathon-y in that sense. Torvald's still open here. NIP have to be careful, though. You don't necessarily want to give that over to SSG. Freeze God Ares certainly capable of making something like that work. But I think last game's a good example of why you banned Torvald.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is one of those interesting moments, though, if you're NIP. They've showcased in the past, again, they can deal with Torvald. They aren't too worried about it. And honestly, with the way the last game went, I don't think they're going to stress if NIP pick that up here. And so I kind of want to see them just not necessarily throw this ban away, but maybe target out someone else. Because otherwise you have Khan, Makoa, and Torvald all available coming into this. And you get 2 of them.
Yeah,
Of course, you probably end up, I would argue, you end up with Torvald Khan, which, depending on, playstyle, I guess, for Serpent Beach, might not be able to get you a ton. But SSG get their Torvald, they get the bubbles this time.
All right, they get the chance. They get the chance to show what Torvald can do. NIP maybe going Khan this time around. Bonker and Diggy Dog both just fine, very comfortable on that champion. Very overpower dependent. We've seen games where Khan just kind of disappears when the overpowers aren't hitting quite as well as you would want them to. Thinking long and hard about it. They're going to go back to the Leon. The combination of Leon, Torvald the last game, granted there was a Genos there as well. Just too much. NIP honestly learning from themselves, taking that one away. And they're going to pair it with the Khan, so you can flip those 1 or 2 depending on which way you want to look at it. But Genos is still open. SSG could really lean into that composition if they want to pick the Genos here.
The biggest thing I think it kind of works both ways here. Leon's really good at dealing with the bubbles as well. But honestly, with Maeve taken away, with Leon taken away, they are chipping slowly but surely at Ares there. And I'm wondering like if NIP are going to kind of keep that up. Eevee locked in is absolutely a Freeze God pick. And Eevee Torvald, Eevee Genos with a Barrack on there, like that's a very, very strong composition. They're still going to be able to run it because Maldama's been picked up there.
They go Tyra?
I'm wondering, yeah, I mean, maybe they go for the Tyra and they just damage amp out the hoo-ha. Like I can't think of, I can't say the phrase I wanted to say. I had to make it up.
Give me that triple damage
Here
amp.
comes.
Give me the Tyra.
They're locking it in.
They're laughing about it. It could be. It's going to be the Victor.
Cheaters.
Similar play style, little less cheaters, you say. They still get the Genos Torvald, so one of the members of SSG. I would imagine it'd be Victor. Eevee's kind of hard to follow around with those Torvald bubbles. Going to be a lot of damage amp on that side as well, so both teams are going to get to try their hand at those compositions. NIP got one more pick here to round things out. I mean, it's honestly just a mirror sort of what we saw last time. Not necessarily champion-wise, but play style-wise.
And actually, I think SSG maybe end up with the best of both worlds. Genos can very easily make sure our mark is always on Eevee. And for the most part, that's all she needs. Like, a bubble absolutely should be going her way more often than not, but you're really looking to get in-hand damage from her. You're not looking at ability stuff. A bubble onto Victor is not only going to be in-hand, but, I mean, think of the grenade now hitting a little harder. Like, it's going to be a lot of bursts that I think can roll up. So as long as Torvald and Genos are on point here, which they should be from SSG, that's a lot of damage to deal with.
It is. Do NIP have the composition to deal with that damage?
I think Leon's going to help. Drogoz has never looked bad here for Alex.
He's going to have a hard time, I feel like, up against Victor. You're going to get
it's going to be troublesome,
Torvald, Genos, Victor. Hit scan is sort of a counter to Drogoz.
Yeah, it's
and you're going to damage amp that.
Kind of a lot.
You know, if you can play mobile, you can play around a little bit of it. Maybe Drogoz is free flying. But on paper, it's looking like he's going to have a tough matchup. I mean, both teams now, we'll get to see SSG's hand as far as the damage amp goes. Maybe anything you can do, I can do better. Mm-hmm. They're hoping that's the case. Game 1, that was a fun one. Game 2, who knows which way it's going to go. Let's send it down to Evan and Nick to find out.
Thanks, guys. It's going to be an interesting run of affairs. NIP and SSG both can't really be bet against, and they're both playing one another. And NIP with a very strong start off, but SSG looked extremely strong to start off Serpent Beach yesterday. This was the match that they ended up losing, though. However, off of that 3-1 and not being able to kind of slow down Kanga.
Man, I wonder about this first pick, Leon, a little bit. Because obviously it was so good for them, and they're probably very concerned about wanting to take that away, because Freeze has a very, very good Leon as well. But you look at the Space Station gaming comp, kind of top to bottom, and considering Torvald may not be anyone's first pick because he's rarely ever open, but my goodness, they certainly have. And look at this. They're just going to run it down straight at SSG. It works so well, frankly, against NIP in the first round. Catch this Torvald unaware, and you can really deal with him quite nicely. And look at how splintered SSG are right now. They are so far apart from each other.
Yeah, and really it's about this duel now, and that's what Alex is after to take care of. He's going to take care of it. It looks like Ice Block has forced him into a really tough spot. Really good release, though. The second that the reload had to happen forces Alex away and keeps him paying attention. 36% for NIP. Richao got in there early, but he's not there often enough. And Ares with an ice bubble just to be able to get out, but that Sadak Ares combo has not done enough. A big jump and a big Eminence kill. That's Tenor off to the races again.
That's what yes, it's a hit scan, double damage amp counter to Drogoz, but one rocket and a little burst combo from Tenor, and that Victor is not going to be in a good place. He's not going to like his situation. Nice heals from Bird as well to keep the boys on their toes. It's an 81% in climbing lead, and again, still so spread out SSG. Need to get some cohesion.
And is this the last time, I mean, that they really trust this Victor onto Ares? It's just been a bit of a question mark champion. It's obviously had some great moments, but he's disappeared. Whereas he had the most audacious and incredible start on the Maeve beforehand. Feels like the drafting just a little bit off for SSG to get the job done. 99%, and NIP wisely, they just back off. Bonkers low, and they're going to lose him. Dread Serpent here, though, will set up a kill onto FRZ.
Have to get some uptime in this fight. Ares has just said, throwing caution to the wind, trying to get in there and make something out of nothing, but nothing remains. NIP take the first payload. Picking the Drogoz into the double damage amp hit scan. It's all calculated. NIP are aware of what they're doing, and they're playing around it. Look at where Tenor was positioned 99% of that fight. Diggy Dog not far away from him. Bird not far away from him. They just took SSG's nest. They took their high ground. They took where Ares would have liked to have been standing. And they just stood there and said, we dare you to come up here.
They acted like they had the Torvald. They pushed that aggressively. And I mean, you know, it's weird, but that's what will happen. There's no way that Victor has enough burst right now, especially with having to line up the grenade to compete with Leon. And the way Tenner's playing, he is maximizing this champion. He's not missing anything. So you cannot count on that. You have to somehow maneuver so that your matchups are better and Ares can free fire without this pressure.
And I mean, pros and cons with every character, even with Torvald. We saw it in game number 1 as well. Torvald cannot control space. He really just pockets one of his damage dealers, tries to deal with it. Time and space, his battle shouted out. Nice, you know, moves and counter moves from Diggy Dog and
Yeah,
Midtown.
seriously, I'm surprised. They had the battle shout ready. They did have, they did have the enlightenment ready. They did not need to use it. It was just a little bit off, so Tenner skirting to that side, making sure he's as close to the waterfront as he can be. A minute gone by here, NIP now being stalled at about halfway through. A couple of headshots ringing.
That's big damage. It's Luminary Field Study right now on this Victor. You can see Diggy Dog half health after about 3 bursts. Alex needs to be super careful, but you can tell he's just aware of it. He knows the matchup is bad. He is peeking for a rocket, and one single rocket only, and then he's back to safety.
I mean, you know what? And I think Serpent Beach, there's so much cover. Big time seismic crash. They're going for Sadak, and Alex with the rotation.
Hello.
He says, I don't think my matchup's that bad, Nick. I'm okay if they don't see me coming, and that's tended to work really well for this Dragon. The Dome Shield coming up from Barrack as a last resort. FRZ got into the ice block. They're struggling.
They definitely are. A little bit of quiet from everyone. They have not
Not
one, but 2 good targets to Torvald, or to pocket with this Torvald. There he slaps Alex out of the sky. That's the counterplay that you expect when you go straight at Victor.
Probably the biggest play Ares has made in this game thus far, and that's not gonna cut it against NIP. That's a big kill, but you gotta get kills there. Push successful. SSG got nothing, and NIP have it all. Alex, Tenner, free flowing, feeling good. Bonker doing everything he needs for his team, and Bird keeping them all healthy while Diggy Dog goes to work.
So far, their performance at MSI has felt reflective of the first couple of weeks we saw from NIP in the PPL. It's just fast, it's aggressive, you can barely keep up with it casting as well. You're just trying to piece together what could be going better for the enemy team, but it just happens so fast, and by the time you've given a diagnosis for the first team fight, the second team fight has already begun and is halfway over. People are bleeding, running away. This is tough to stop from NIP. This is the essence of what this team is.
And what I think is maybe just a big issue here is maybe the fact that Sadak is rolling with Ares, and it's just not getting the job done, man. It's just not getting the job done. And Rachel going up there, I like the adjustment. SSG at least changing their plan. A barricade will buy them some time, and Alex can't be too aggressive. But FRZ God needs to get that ability to go into the back line. No one has dealt with Alex, despite the hit scan potential on the side of SSG.
Round 1, and Nara and Khan bulldoze the enemy high ground to make sure that they have some space. Enlightenment will put some hurt on the Torvald. Everybody's very, very low. Diggy Dog is carefully approaching what he knows should be a surefire win.
I mean, I just don't like it. I don't like the bubble on the Ares. I think it's just so ineffective here in the way that they're bringing damage. And I think FRZ God needs to be the one that you're counting on. He's the one that's going to make the plays anyway. He's got the Eevee. He's the power champ. That's going to determine it. So at the end of the day, SSG find a way to at least pull back off of the onslaught from NIP, but they've got nothing on the objective. They've still got to gain some space here.
I recognize the ability for Victor to rip a team fight apart, but I don't think there's a reason why Freeze can't get the first bubble to get the first pick, and then Ares can take the reins. Once they have control of the map, Victor will absolutely go ham, but until that point, man, he has just struggled.
The poke has really been the issue because Alex is doing such a good job, and he might clean up Rachel here. If he doesn't, that would be a big dropped kill, and he's gonna 57% now for NIP, and the barrage, we'll see what that can find. So far, not much, but FRZ God starts it off, gets one big hit. Can he get another? It's the 2 blasters midair. Who's gonna hit it? The ice block will immune 1, 2. He's gonna get out of the third. Big blink, escapes the fire spit.
This is not an easy matchup either way.
No.
But it's one, Alex is a great Drogos player, but Freeze plays a lot more Eevee than I think Alex plays Drogos, and Alex has done a phenomenal job going toe-to-toe with one of the best to ever do it on Eevee.
100% here. Bonker with a nice seismic crash. It does get 3, but no one's there to follow up. It's been great space created by Sanak on the Dome Shield, and so you got to give credit to that. Alex is diving in. Is he going to find it? He will. He gets mid-tower. That should be it. There's no sustain. They're going to have to do it by themselves, and they are crumbling like a cookie here on Serpent Beach. 0.3 looking like it's going to go to NIP.
They just do such a good job of playing against the composition in particular, realizing what is the win condition for Space Station and how do we disarm that. It really has been displacing the Victor, and the thing that I've wanted to see more of from Space Station is react to that.
Yeah.
If that's going to happen, that's going to happen. Right now, Tenor's throwing 360 enlightenments
You're kidding
on you right now. Something has to change.
That something's got to change. That's that moment where you look up into the mirror and you see maybe you gained a little bit too much weight. Maybe you had somebody that you loved leave you and say, I can't deal with this anymore. You look in the mirror and you say, something's got to shift. That is that moment when the 360 enlightenment comes out. You're like, oh, hell no, this is not going down anymore. I got to do something different. But it may not be a chance for them to do it this game. Their matchups have not been good, despite looking pretty decent on paper.
Running a somewhat niche pick like a Victor against NIP is always a risk. And NIP, it's not like their draft is risk-free either, but that's what I kind of want to see a little bit more of. Easier said than done, sure, but Freeze got diving a Leon, someone who's relatively immobile, maybe even Maldamba, maybe take Bird out of there. If you can find him, track him down, get him a bubble. You cannot win this map without getting that pick. NIP are dictating where and how this fight happens.
It was interesting yesterday. We saw Penta obviously make that huge upset against Na'Vi, 3-0, the minor league team, and they'll be playing in our next matchup today. Be great to see if he could go up against his old former team of NIP, but obviously a lot of games still left. What we saw is that he mentioned the matchup between him and Creatives was going to be important, but that Creatives kind of ignored that matchup. And that was what was so interesting to me. It's like, I haven't seen FRZ guy be able to really 1v1 Tenor, be able to 1v1 Alex. He can't even get to Alex.
And that's what Torvald should be able to do. Maybe it's nerves, man. You never really know what it could be on any given day that's slowing a player down. There's so many human elements that are coming into play, especially this late in the tournament with this much on the line. But that's one of the things that Torvald brings, that sweet, sweet sound of, oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You know you have 2,000 extra HP, you're doing way more damage than your opponents, and you can just kind of push with reckless abandon, try and get something going. If this round does not end this game, that's what I want to see. Seed the high ground. It's going to happen. NIP have the comp to bully you. Bubble Freeze a little bit and see if he can get something done.
Definitely feels like this is not going to last another round, but FRZ guy gets a big kill, and that turns things right around very quickly. Bonker has to try to take this duel. FRZ guy going to blink in, get a few shots, and try to just apply some pressure. Ice Storm, not quite used, but he has it in the pocket if it feels desperate. Bonker, he's still up there. Diggy now forced to be on the objective, and overtime taking away. It's a seismic crash. They are going for it here, Nick.
Well, there's a Dragon Punch as well. A lot of defensive utility from Space Station Gaming. They lose Ares. Ice Storm comes out. Kills have to happen, and they are answered 1 for 1.
You got to do something here. You might have to Hyper Beam. You might have to just get it over with. Alex is going to go down. FRZ got with 3 here. Mid-Tow with another, and this is big from FRZ. He is going to take 4 down in that fight.
That worked pretty well.
And it is going to work all right.
Do you think that might be something they could maybe try again in the next round?
That's what I would kind of start to shift towards, Nick. It feels like there's something there. Maybe a clue, so to speak.
We've got a raging clue here going into what could be the final round.
Raging clue.
SSG put some weight on this man. I think he's up to the task today. I don't know that I've seen a single bubble go on to Freeze God, and he's still 9-2. So let him turn his brain off a little bit and just go full aggro and see what happens. It has not worked bubbling Ares nonstop in the first 2 rounds. It's not a matter of opinion anymore.
No, it's got to be something different. And Tenor, I think if he goes down, it changes everything. Alex then is forced to get a little more aggressive. Right now, Tenor can take the focus. Alex can just show up to clean up. And that's a great spot for Drogos to be on Serpent Beach with Worm Jets. Obviously, being able to stay up in the air. I like this aggressive play. What are you going to do about it? I mean, that's the point. What are you going to do about it? Bonker finally getting some pressure, forced off to the point where Chow now able to switch up. And FRZ guy has a great angle here.
Look at this. It's the same thing. Khan and Leon just go bully out the high. Bonker's frankly there to help as well. They bully out the high ground.
Okay.
They root Aries up from his nest, and that's kind of been curtains for SSG.
That's a really good story. He anticipated what Alex is going to be trying to do with those rockets. And you're right, Aries just has not done anything but hug that corner, and that is just the easiest thing for a Drogos to take advantage of. It's going to be a kill. And Nick, they don't seem like they've learned on this map at least.
Same square dance, man. It's literally the same things happen every single round. They bully SSG off their high ground. Aries can't get good DPS uptime in these fights. They get the return kill onto Tenor. Salvo's ready, but NIP just put it away, and very, very little adjusting happening for SSG on the fly.
And to be fair, great play by NIP. They are playing lights out. We're just seeing SSG have some obvious ways to adjust and not quite adjusting that yet in this draft, or at least in the way they're playing the draft. It's probably both, because now you look and you say the victor could have been anybody. It could have been a Tyra. It could have been anything that we felt confident in. And so now you have to look at, how do we set ourselves up? What does Aries need to really pop off the way he did yesterday? And those are things we're going to find out in Game 3. It's 2-0 for NIP, and now a best of 7, so 2 more games for Spacestation to get it right.
Well, the comps were flipped, but the outcome, that's the exact same this time around. The last 2 matchups, both going the way of NIP, both 4-0s, but very different in the sense that we touched on this pregame, 4-3, all 4 threes last time, but this is looking very much more similar to the first time these two teams played, where it was convincingly NIP across the board. I think Nick brought up a very good point. You just send Bonker, Diggy Dog, and Bittner, and you bully out Aries, the entire game. He has the most damage by 20,000, but I mean, he's probably just laying into Bonker at that point. I mean, you're sort of farming damage. Freeze got at 9-2 is the only positive member of Space Station by a large margin. Just firmly in control there is NIP.
And this is, I mean, we've mentioned it in the past about SSG, but every now and then Freeze God will do everything in his power to make things go right, and it still won't be enough. Like, that EV had a lot of saving grace moments. It's the only reason they actually even got the defense in the first place. But this is a matchup, like, Alex should have, I'm going to argue, maybe 20,000 less damage. Like, he should be sitting at 56,000 unless this game goes 4-3.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. He's getting the kill on Aries. Aries is getting bullied out. Aries was never able to do anything on that Victor. And it goes back to what we were saying on the desk, what Evan I heard just say towards the very end. The casters had mentioned it the entire time. Why Victor? And why not Tyra? Why not something we've seen you as Aries be successful on in the past? Like, where did the Victor come from, and did you learn your lesson? Because that is a matchup that 100% should always go to Victor. He should be able to take this dragon out of the air, especially with burst mode. And I don't know. I think I saw him kill Alex once.
Yes. No, that's something sort of our final thought of the pick ban phase last time around was, why? We almost questioned the Drogos pick because, you know, obviously it's mobile, it's up in the air. I mean, does a lot. It's good on Serpent Beach, but you're picking it into a double amplified Victor.
Yeah.
Why? And that showed us why. Because you don't care. And when you know that you can outplay it anyway, Aries just could not get comfortable that game, did not deal with the dragon even remotely. Almost double positive kills to death-wise. Luckily, again, this is a best of 7, so Space Station have 2 more maps to turn things around, but at 4-1, 4-1, it's got to be a convincing turnaround. Shattered Desert, a little more team deathmatchy, but skirmishy, I guess you could say, with Siege kind of thrown in the mix.
I'm going to be honest, that actually might hurt SSG more than it helps them. Like, if you're looking at that, NIP have kind of been playing team deathmatch these last couple of games. They haven't been having any problem. I mean, they could be playing like a search and destroy game mode where you only have 1 life, and they're still pretty fine with it because they're winning every single round they need to. They're going to ban out the EV. They're going to ban and probably target like the things that are very strong on this map. I wouldn't be surprised to see SSG potentially run towards Ruckus if they really want to. Yesterday, they were able to pick him up. They like the Maeve on this map as well, so that's 2 really strong picks for him.
This is the first Shattered Desert between these 2 teams, correct? If I'm remembering the 5 list of maps that they've played. So this entire split, this is the first time we'll see them go toe-to-toe on Shattered Desert.
Come on, let's
Notably, Torvald in the ban column, so more surprising than not, this is the first time in this set he won't come out. Ash taking the priority over Barrack in this case. Khan is still around. NIP could go for that 1-2 punch. They're going to. And that harkens back to yesterday, a point that I sort of noted about yesterday, where Ashe has now kind of jumped up in the first pick conversation, even above Khan. That's the case this time around. She's become a good champion at doing a lot of the same things Khan does. Her ultimate, depending on how the overpowers are going, a good assert dominance can have more of an impact than a good overpower.
And that's exactly what it is. It's just I feel like so many people have missed overpowered, specifically at this LAN, like more in the last 3 days than I have seen collectively in 13 weeks of the Premier League. And that's the thing, is just you're looking at, I want to say, one of the best ultimates. Like, it is a guaranteed kill almost every single time.
Ooh.
And if you're not connecting with him, if you don't think you're going to, he is not worthwhile. Everything else in his kit is nice, but it is not first pick anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they'll look to connect on. Diggy Dog likely on the con, putting Barrack in the hands of Bonker. Ashe, Ruckus, Cassie, 1, 2, 3 here for Space Station Gaming. Ruckus with a 60% win rate here at the MSI. Sadak loves Ruckus. It's a champion he's very comfortable on, and I think Ruckus performs on this map.
I love what they do here. I was thinking, looking at yesterday, you change out this Ashe for Khan, and otherwise SSG are looking for the same thing. Ruckus, Cassie, Maeve, Furia, and then Khan was their 5th pick when they played it up against Kanga. You grab the Furia, which we saw yesterday Mitau did insane things with. It was in his highlight reel today. Yep. So when you look at that had a huge impact. When you look at this Maeve, she has almost always been a big pick. Either Ares or Freeze God play her at that level. Yesterday was Freeze God on this map. And so you just take that away. You literally knock their legs out from under them in the draft phase right now. And I think that's why it's taken a little longer to figure out. They don't know what to do anymore.
The lights may be out here for SSG if they're not able to find a win. Haven't seen a full reverse sweep up to this point in this season. We've seen 3 game swings at 3-1 coming back to win it. But no straight 4-game sweeps down 3-0. You could consider this a must-win for SSG. Technically not out of it, but it'd be a tall task to win 4 straight, especially against NIP. Genos Tyra read out the SSG lineup. I think that's a good switch. We were wondering why maybe the Tyra didn't come out last game. Here she is on Shattered Desert.
I think this all hinges right now on, well, I guess Pip. I was going to say whatever they pick up. I don't know, like Maeve probably going to be looking for a wrecker if she wants to deal with Ruckus, but she can dive the Tyra, she can dive the Cassie. Pip, same way, being able to kind of deal with them.
Yeah.
There's not as much dealing with the emitter shield directly for Ruckus, so maybe he's going to be able to do a little bit more. This is one of Sadok's favorite picks. This is something that he's made huge impacts with in the past, so Ruckus is probably going to play a big role here. But a lot of the tools are on the side of NIP. Like, again, Barrack, Khan, Furia, Maeve, Pip. Every single one of those, except for maybe Furia, you could argue, has been a power pick, not only for this team, but just in general. And they have 4 of them on one side.
Well, a team built out of sudden aggression, they're going to turn off the lights with the Maeve, turn on the fire with the Furia, and maybe turn out the lights on SSG. Let's send it down to your casters and get Game 3 underway.
Game 1 and 2 have gone the way of the Ninjas, but Space Station Gaming, the Brazilian fan base of one of the most exciting electric teams in Paladins, are here to battle back on the Shattered Desert. Nick, do you think their lineup can do it?
I actually really do. I have a lot of faith in this Space Station comp for a couple of reasons, most notable of which being that it just doesn't feel very hard to pull off.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these are just very straightforward picks, comfortable picks that we've historically seen be very good for these players of SSG. This map, it's very kind of, straightforward. You run around, you skirmish a little bit. There's not a whole lot that we, even after, it's been a while since Shattered Desert came out. There's not really that vanilla approach to this map that real, solve that solution to how do people win on Shattered Desert. And I think SSG are just talented enough to be able to skirmish with NIP.
20% here starting off. A little bit of poking and prodding. Both teams feeling each other out here. Looks like Chow might be first to go, but oh no. Oh, big stun, but I think he's still dead. Zadok finds a good kill on the bird, so they both are rotating, both big kills, but one kill's onto the healer, the other's onto one of the front lines. This should definitely tilt in favor of SSG, and the longer this fight goes, if they can get a pick now or so, it would be very, very influential for Space Station.
Nice push from Blocker. Grabs the clean kill on Ares and right back on out. No real risks taken, just capitalizing on what they started. Tenor finds one on Sadak, though, as SSG start to go onto the back foot yet again. 51 and climbing for NIP, getting close to some of these ultimates. Overpower is almost at 70%.
My goodness gracious, and that just shows you how much damage has been done from Diggy on this map. He's got so much control of these areas, and he's going to be buddied up. And so you're going to have to try to isolate him or catch Bird off guard yet again. Rachal's going to dive in with a shoulder bash that will knock Diggy away. Tenor up into the air. He can't come down. That's big kills there. Rachal helping with that. Sadak on the Ruckus, but it's FRZ God who finds the kill in the back line under Bonker. They have taken control yet again.
Keep it together. NIP definitely not out of this one yet. They have big ultimates coming up. Midnight and Overpower. And Evil Mojo now are going to be in the conversation if they play this one slow and steady and don't kind of break their nerve. I think they're in a great spot to bring this one back.
And there is a really good opportunity to get this Tyra out of here, and he's right by the window. But look at this, SSG find the capture in between all of the ult. A big stun as well. Will this get burned down? He uses the Wings of Wrath, but the Wrath is on the side of Space Station as they find all 4 of NIP, and Diggy forced to run away back to base.
I'm not sure where exactly that goes wrong. Obviously, Tenor dies, but I wasn't watching his perspective to be confident of saying what he did wrong there or what happened there. We were watching Diggy, so I'll kind of comment on that. He's sitting on the objective, and sometimes the strategy is to just milk every last little % out for as long as you can. But that's more of a Na'Vi thing. That's not really a con thing necessarily. If they were able to fall back, maybe give Tenor that battle shout, get that overpower charge, it's all spilt milk at this point, but that's kind of what I was seeing.
Wow, that was a big aggression, and they lost 2, Nick. They lost 3. Are you kidding me? NIP at the Inflame, they all die. That's not how that ultimate works.
No, not quite, man. Bonus damage, movement speed, and
you
it's
all
all
die.
for naught, man.
Wow.
NIP, Bird, the first to respawn, followed quickly by Alex. This is looking good for SSG so far. They have drafted such a good skirmishy Shattered Desert comp, I feel, in a lot of ways. They can just keep this one going. And another thing they have going for them that I like, I'll hold that thought, though, as this fight looks like it's about ready to break out here. A lot of ultimates are ready to go, and this payload is knocking on the door of conversion.
And we've seen Sadak kind of hold these emitters till the very last moment. He does have the Hexafire, and a lot of Ruckus players will try to go into the Hexafire, bait you out into thinking they're low, and then use that emitter for a little bit of extra time while all that damage is pouring out. But he just uses his there to apply some poke and not receive too much of it. Ares choosing where he wants to throw that mark on. It will be a crucial decision whether they try to get rid of a damage dealer or one of the front lines here. It goes on to Tenor, actually. And then he's going to back off.
Just poking and prodding at each other. SSG, maybe it's their lack of ultimates. Maybe it's they're just really hoping something falls into their lap. They got to make it happen now, though. The banister is planted.
It looks like this should be it. I'm not sure, but look at that. Just another really good kind of counterattack, and the commander's grab will do it. Alex playing a pivotal role in the damage in the poke. And I really like the way NIP have responded. SSG had a moment there, but they kind of waited a little too long.
Well, to assert dominance for Dome Shield, it's kind of the same ultimate in a different way, so I guess you can call that one a wash. This round quietly comes to an end. Kind of back to that thought that I brought up earlier. NIP, I think one thing that they do so well is play around each other and play like rotations, lines of sight, give each other little tiny advantages. And that I feel that works better when you can systematically like break down, especially like when you look at certain beach, like what is going to work well for Space Station? What are they trying to do? When those goals aren't as clear and it's a little messier like it's been here on Shattered Desert, they can't do that as much. They can't be that really top tier team when they don't have that like clear call to make. On Serpent Beach, you saw every time, clinical, to the high ground, make space for Tenor, then rotate down to point, shatter them, spread them out, win the payload. That simple. It's hard to say exactly what's happening on these point fights because it's a little all over the place.
But at least it's a defense, and that's what NIP have to be happy for. I think SSG will be a little upset that they weren't able to push that through. They had the payload right at the edge. They had ultimates to use. They just didn't land that assert dominance. And now the aggression is gone for the way of Tenor, and he's going to get a big kill on a Rachal. Sadak with a Hexafire in return, but the Moxie and the Healing Potion will give Tenor all the health he needs back. Bad target decision there, and Alex will find the kill.
The last 2 fights have been really forced, and that's not always a bad thing. In fact, a lot of times I prescribe that. Get in there, set the pace of the fight,
Dr. Pretty Hair,
make it happen. But the assert dominance goes in. Khan is the perfect guy to just be like, nope, you're actually over here now, idiot. Now you're dead. Diving in, Hexafire by yourself, that's like, I don't know.
Not a great
Maybe you
target.
pentakill an IP and be the hero of the tournament, but 99% chance you don't.
And Sadak makes it out. We've always talked about hook bait, and Makoa used to be the one, but now it's more Khan. Who's the target? Ruck is probably one of the worst targets because his instant mobility and his huge health pool and his emitter, and it saves his life. And Sadak able to find a crucial kill back onto Bonker. So target prioritization, fights being a little less clean than they could be. It does feel like things are a little bit less clinical on the side of the Ninjas.
Back and forth, Mitau doing his best washing machine impression on the point. Circle strafing, scout and time and space is all they've got left. Getting close on assert dominance though. Look at this,
Need to stay
neck
alive.
and neck, Rashao and Bonker on these point fight ultimates. They need to get one of these up. Alex finds the critical support, assassination.
There's a lot FRC guy needs to do, and he's going to do it. He's the only one left to really stand on. As long as they get on the point, this should be Space Station's fight. That Dome Shield cannot save it. There's a Cassie responding, but Bird finds a big kill as well. He finds a double kill, taking notes from Mike, and he's able to clean it up on the Furia on Shattered Desert, 2-1, now in IP.
Furia can contribute significant amounts of damage, and it's damage that you're just not expecting. This character is not at the forefront of the meta, but her damage in a fight, when she gets in there, gets uptime, has her passive fully stacked as well, it is not something that you can ignore.
It's a headshot as, oh my goodness gracious. I mean, that's a commander's grab, I believe, into a stun.
Wasn't overpower.
It wasn't overpower, that's for sure. I believe that was just beautiful timing on the commander's grab by Diggy Dog so that she did not land. There is a moment before she lands, you can actually CC her with that move. And so that's what happened, and unfortunately, Rachao loses his life. Ninja's on a very nice push here to start.
Oh, a lot of time left in the round as NIP are rounding the final corner. This is kind of what happens, though, on Shattered Desert. Sometimes you see a little intermediary fight there at that hairpin turn, but all the way back against the spawn door now, SSG are going to look to make their stand here. It's a nicely timed Evo Mojo because it gets counterplayed immediately.
Yeah, FRC God does get taken down by Bird, but it buys a lot of time. And these overpowers, they've just been in spots where you say, not as much value as you would have liked from such a valuable ultimate, but that's like the map as well. Shattered Desert doesn't have those easy toss-off opportunities. So you kind of have to hold someone and hope that either you or your team can have enough damage to finish them off before the overpower ends.
Actually, where Sadak was just looking is actually the only kill volume on Shattered Desert. You have to, and thankfully Diggy Dog actually did. He managed to throw somebody out into the desolate sands, the quicksands that you sink and you die instantly. It's kind of rare to see on Shattered Desert for sure.
Yeah.
I don't really have any others in recent memory, so a lot of times it has to, somebody else has to make that rotation to actually make overpower lethal on Shattered Desert.
Can we take a look at it at the items too? Because I wonder if Resilience getting picked up. That's something that will stop it. Look, they've almost all got it. Except for Sadak, who has a little bit of movement. I think Resilience 1 would be enough.
Yeah, probably.
And that's just going to be enough so that you probably can't kill a lot of people off the throw volume, which is why you see Diggy Dog holding them most of the time. And it's good counterplay in the itemization, reducing that crowd control effect and duration as far as the overtime. 14 seconds now, but the push looks like it's going to go in. NIP have done a great job back to their clinical nature. This is scary for SSG, who are now facing the potential to go down 3-0 and having to reverse sweep 4 games in a row against NIP.
This is looking like a team that wants to win. This is looking like a player that wants to win. A guy that's had a lot of undefeated online seasons, but just not able to close out at LAN. I mean, you look at Diggy Dog, he's never been able to crack the finals of an international LAN. It's been a hell of a long time since Bird and Bonker were able to do it. Alex,
listen,
has rarely qualified for these events.
And Tenor, I mean, you know, he's been there in the finals all the time, just never wins. I mean, that was the Fnatic struggle. And Fisheko on the other side of Virtus Pro, play a little bit later, he's been in the same situation. There's a lot of people fighting right now.
That would be a cool final,
yeah,
for sure.
who are going to get their opportunity to win, and unfortunately somebody will lose, but we're going to be celebrating either way for the efforts these teams have put together. SSG just haven't had it today for whatever reason, and that's been kind of the story of this tournament, hasn't it? Tenor getting low, though. A nice heal. Moxie not doing as much, but it's doing enough. 900 back to the health pool will save his life.
Man, this auxiliary healing from the battle shot from the potion, it's so good. You're seeing it play in time after time after time. 3 people's lives are saved there, and all by different people. Again, that's what I want to harp on. NIP plays so well as a team. Tenor gets the shout, Alex gets the potion, then Bird throws the heal on the Tenor.
This game's over, I think.
It's just it's a Plinko effect
I think assert dominance could maybe change something. You'd have to find a kill here, but I just don't even know if they can get back. I honestly don't. Their zone is so good. NIP are clinical at zoning. I would not be surprised. Rachao's going to try up. Inflame. Okay, so he's back. 8 seconds left. Sadak is here, Nick. What can they do? A big stun. Is it going to exterminate him? It will. Bird finds a big kill onto the Furia.
Bird's fragging, but everybody else is dying.
Okay, Ares.
Quickly.
FRZ.
Comeback mechanic as well. Any semblance of a zone from SSG, and this payload should be theirs.
That is insane. They don't even now have to zone. That was an incredible retake. Rachao was so close to landing on that and getting killed before he was able to fall to the ground. It's happened many times, even in this game, but he gets off a crucial one, and then they back off.
Well, overtime is going to start. Time and space. Rips to the back line. Finds nothing. 2 for 1 in favor of SSG.
You've got to get under the point. Diggy Dog knows it. He's trying to take down the healer. If he does, it's huge. Vital gets aggressed on. A big commander's grab. Trades with Diggy. Bird is gone down. It's Sadak, FRZ God, and the rest are wailing on Diggy Dog's little shield. It's going to be SSG, who at least buy themselves another round.
Sadak finds 2 there as well. Let's head to the damage charts. Get a little prognosis on this Ruckus. See where it's sitting, just above the healers. And while it's not the worst thing out of the gate. Let me finish the thought here. I mean, this is a character that does not poke a ton. He really looks for his opportunities, dives in on them, gets the kill, and then leaves. So you might see a good slash line. Let's take a look at the slash lines and see, does that save Sadak a little bit? Yeah, 9 and 8. He's not negative last time. That was a big thing we noted yesterday. Picked the Ruckus, didn't go that well. Would that affect him wanting and willing to pick this character the rest of the tournament? The answer was no. I think that's benefited them largely. He's, in a positive spot. That's a good place to be as an off tank.
And IP here now on the defensive side of things, and SSG, you don't know whether that was really what should have been happening. Big shot from Tenor. That's why it was so special that he got on the point. He's been shut down so much. Not been able to come down a lot on that ultimate. They're just ready for him. And FRZ got on the Cassie. Very dangerous character. 8 streak indeed, but it's felt like his impact has been here and there. Not quite as pervasive as that of Pip.
Yeah. It's tough, man. With the battle shout, with the healing potion, with Alex being able to just kind of heal himself and DR himself, because that's the way Maeve's loadouts work. There's just a lot of sustain. That's just enough. It's not huge
it's just
burst.
Enough.
I mean, that 720, no, it's not the big, full, meaty healing potion you get at the start of the game. 720 damn HP. I mean, of course Tenor's going to win those.
Yeah, and it's just important because they've got to really do what I think Diggy Dog and the rest of NIP have been so good at doing. Eliminating Furia. Bird needs to go, and it's been happening a lot, but Mid-Tao has been focused quite often by that con, and it's just almost impossible for him to run away on this map. Stellar Wind won't get you out of line of sight fast enough.
You look at this suite of ultimates, and I'm almost kicking myself for not mentioning it until now. From SSG, it's kind of unreliable. I mean, Scout, Crossfire, and Hexfire are basically the same thing. Time and space, you can try and set that up, not in the late game, which we are at now, and Scout is Scout. I mean, damn, SSG do not have it easy when it comes to having ults.
Great stuff. Somehow Ares makes it out. The firebomb going down would have been amazing. Void Grip will help to get the kill, but Mid-Tao will fall. And that's the key. Sadak on a 7 streak, but I'm not sure it's enough. They will have FRZ God, and now he doesn't have any pocket healing. Bird is not available, and so he will at least fall, and that's been such a crucial aspect of their push.
I mean, 8 people dying in that fight. It's a 4 for 4, it feels like. SSG, NIP, absolutely duking it out on Shattered Desert. A lot of people respawning now. SSG, the cavalry has arrived, but so has it for NIP.
And Ares gets taken down. The reason Rachao goes down there, doesn't buy a little bit of time. Bonker runs around the corner. He knows he's using Slug Shot. It's offense, not defense, and they've been sacrificing this quite a lot on SSG. They prefer it. I've seen a lot of battering ram in EU. I don't think Slug Shot has been their main priority, especially when you look at the way Rhino's played it. And it's just been very successful that way, but they choose to go for the extra damage. And you know why, but man, oh man, they do need some more reliability somewhere.
Talking and communicating is always a good thing for SSG to continue to do. When that stops, that's when you know a team is likely dead in the water. When you're not identifying what's going wrong, what you could be doing better, little improvements you make along the way. Why does that Crab Rave song always come up? It's so, it's always on the replays. It's like randomly this Crab Rave song like bursts in.
Because it's always time to Crab Rave.
It's so confusing.
It's always time. And it's Shattered Desert, and you know what? Sometimes you gotta shatter the moment with a little rave music so that you can get hype when you need to. And there's the Midnight. He knows exactly where they are. They're grouped up over there, and now it looks like a good Hexafire moment, but he's under pressure, and he doesn't have full health, and he doesn't have great healing, and that's what has made it difficult to find the damage on that. Aries going to go down thanks to Diggy Dog. This is all NIP now. Their fight to lose.
I mean, they're so splintered. SSG, the advantage of that is you can attack from a lot of different angles if you attack together, but it just didn't happen. NIP were very clumped. Could have been a good Hexafire, but no, it didn't happen.
They're waiting for Rachao, and he lands, but Sadak, he's dead. No way, Jose. Rachao buying as much time as he can, but this looks like a dead and gone situation. But they get the kill, and that is big. And now they are going to probably back off because Rachao's still healthy. He's still got a shield, and Slugshot is starting to hit on that Mave. Really good min-maxing from SSG to just get that kill on the bunker and steal the Dome Shield.
Do you push this?
Absolutely. You've got Slugshot,
so
baby.
He's marked up.
Look at this.
This would be such a big kill if they could grab it, and
No splash.
NIP is allowed to stabilize. Not full comeback mechanic, half
No ults.
comeback. There it is, the dash on the bunker, trying to get in there, trying to stay involved, but Rachao is falling lower and lower and lower.
And he couldn't find a good target, could he? Sadak is so low as well, and they're going to try to push. FRC God takes a little bit of a 1-2 punch there. Aries can't do it. It's going to be NIP. They are in control now. There is still a chance, but no ultimates, no good opportunities for them to get back. It's too far of a zone. This is surely going the way of the Ninjas as they take game number 3 here on Shattered Desert.
Business as usual. Diggy Dog and the gang.
Oh boy.
Diving on that grenade to just zone out and make sure that this one is 110% locked in. That's 3 straight for NIP.
Oh boy.
Nobody's been able to do it. Not even the Cavs. It had to be a 3-1 comeback, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if SSG are ready to climb that mountain. It looks like the semifinals might be skunking them yet again.
Yeah, it's unfortunate here. Space Station are just at that little precipice, that threshold of being able to go into the finals, feel confident in this moment. But unfortunately, you can't look at a confident situation at all. 4 games in a row are needed to beat NIP. Otherwise, NIP will be moving on to the finals. Let's send it back to the desk, get their thoughts.
Well, the sun may be setting on semifinal number 1 and the MSI run here of SSG.
Yeah.
If they're not able to win the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, they're going home. They're not going to the finals. That's a tall mountain to climb, as they said down in the caster booth. I'm not sure they'll be able to do it, but it needs to start with this next game. 130,000 damage.
Yeah.
Gore, for Freeze God, I feel like the trend is that Space Station have had the highest damage dealer in their games, but just can't fight as a team so much around it. NIP are just playing so consistently well as a team right now.
NIP are controlling the flow of what Space Station's trying to do. And that's when you're not playing your game anymore as SSG. You're playing what NIP wants you to, and it's locking you down. And this is the numbers to look at. Across 3 maps so far, SSG with that last map finally got enough points to technically win 1. They have 4 total points across these 3. That's just not a strong, solid look. That's not something that convinces anyone about a reverse sweep. And, I mean, you see moments like that, and I don't know if you could convince anyone anything about your team being able to find a win here.
Oh, Diggy Dog just literally running down members of Space Station Gaming. And again, I mean, you can only look at history so much in this league, in that, you know, week after week we've seen a team that lost last time win this time, you know, yada yada. But the last time these two teams played, it was a 4-0. But it was 4 3s across the board, and that's the sort of thing where you say, yeah, it was a 4-0, SSG got skunked, but, you know, some of those games might have gone, you know, differently if this little micro play changed around. I mean, they could have won game 2, game 3, whatever. This is just convincingly NIP's favor. This is not where you say, oh, well, last point fight, kind of a toss-up, SSG could have won it, gotten a point here. I mean, they are choking out SSG right now, and if things continue that way, if their play does not falter and the SSG play does not rise up, I think you're looking at a 4-0 here in semifinal number 1.
And it's funny because we were talking about it right before it came in, and we were just like, you know, I don't feel like SSG's playing poorly. Like they're not making crazy mistakes where it's like, oh, this guy's drastically out of position. It's just NIP are just doing their job, if that makes any sense. Like NIP are doing what they've been doing the entire season, save for 2 sets, doing everything they've been doing. The reason they are number 1 in the Premier League, which technically means number 1 in the world as of right now, is because when they play, they don't let you do what you want to.
Right.
SSG have great drafts. SSG have great play individually and admittedly as a team. It's just that they're getting separated and forced to play at a different pace than they want to. They're forced to play in different positions than they want to. Like, everything NIP are doing is just keeping SSG off step.
And one thing to note is we've seen kind of all of the different drafts. You know, we looked at game 1 and NIP draft such an aggressive composition and they win, and we're like, well, that's almost lost in the draft. NIP had just such a good team comp. Maybe that tilts things in NIP's favor, but then the next game, SSG gets such a similar team comp in Torvald and Genos and Victor, and they still get blown out of the water. Last game was a little more even, and this is honestly maybe looking like one of those where it's just out of your hands. NIP are just playing too well today that they're too focused on that finals performance maybe to even be stopped. Drogo's ban and Leon ban, that opens up a couple things here. Khan, Atlas, both ready. And hopefully SSG are ready to make full use of it, because they're looking like they're out of time unless they're ready to hit a setback on this one and get a win in the win column. Khan and Ash are going to answer back, though. Atlas is a very good first pick, but Khan and Ash have been kind of teetering beyond that first pick. Do we prefer Khan? Do we prefer Ash? You get both here if you're NIP. It's an interesting trade-off. Atlas for Khan and Ash on the opposite side.
And it definitely is putting, I think, a lot of weight onto Sadak, who's probably going to be this Atlas. Like, it is perform or, well, get knocked out, I guess, really, for him. And that pick has to be more than worth it to give up those two so far solid and very high priority front lines that has been then set. And it just brings me back kind of what Nick said towards the tail end of that cast as they threw it back over here, is that SSG, and it's never been this convincingly, but when you look at the players, when you look at Latin America or Brazil or any of these guys coming through, they almost always lose in semis. They never, Nocturne's gaming on the world stage. Was never able to make it here. SSG has gotten a lot of third places, a lot of fourth places, but they've never been able to make it to the finals. During this last Hi-Res Expo at DreamHack, they were the ones who were getting taken down by Envy in a 7-game set. Like, it goes all that way. And you're almost continuing that right now. And it's got to feel rough knowing that it's almost always perpetually the bridesmaid, never the bride. You never get to be there.
Yeah, and this one's not really even all that close. They could mount a comeback. I mean, the phrase do or die is maybe overused, but this is literally do or die tournament-wise for SSG here. You continue your life in the MSI just a little bit longer.
The antidote, Dave.
Atlas, Cassie, Inara, Damba, Maeve is what SSG are going to bring to the table in the fight for their tournament lives. It's a good composition, but NIP could shift things around. They already have the Eevee. Leon is banned out. Cassie as well picked over. I think they would have picked Leon or Cassie if they were still available here. So good drafting for good picking and banning, I should say, on the side of SSG. Still plenty for NIP to round out with. They've played the Tyra in the past, but not a lot of worry on their face right now.
I mean, when Bonker's that relaxed in the middle of a set, I think you need to be a little more stressed than I think anyone on NIP. And obviously, that's how they're going to be sitting. They're up 3-0. And if you asked anyone that's sitting in that booth right now, they'd say that they've not even broken a sweat throughout most of this. And this is an awkward moment. Like, I think this composition for SSG against any other team in the Premier League, they make this map a 4-3. They potentially win this map. It is not a big deal. But with the way NIP have been playing, I just don't know if they get it.
Is that your way of saying 4-0, Gore?
Yeah, it kind of sucks, but yeah, it's a 4-0. I think, Khan, Ash, Genos, Eevee, Tyra, this Eevee is going to do so much work, no one's going to know what to do with it.
Well, Gore says 4-0. Is that going to be the case? Let's send it down to your casters and see if they agree.
I don't know, man. I think 4-0 would be the easiest situation for SSG to go out. It seems like an unclimbable mountain, but that's what's exciting. Nick, before the Cavs did that, as you mentioned, no one had done it before. So at the end of the day, you could be the first. You could look at it as an opportunity. First. Someone has to do it first.
And this could be it. It is do or die SSG. The semifinal Skunkers, can they break this curse? Everybody looking to break a couple curses today. Tenor, undefeated seasons. He wants to grab an international finals win. My goodness, Diggy Dog's never cracked a final either. This would be his first international event that he makes it all the way to the finish line. We'll see if he can cross it They have to get through this last game. Again, down without a fight, though. That is not the way Space Station are going to take this one. They draft a solid composition. One of the very few Atlases we've seen this event. He is permabanned for the most part.
Yeah.
Kind of the same story as Shattered Desert. Everybody is on comfort picks. It's time to win a game, though.
And look at this, going for the Temporal Divide. Interesting choice here. Great wall. FRZ God finds the first blood, though. Is the Mave, the ticket for Brazil to start things off. Try to shift the energy in this set here. So far, so good. A couple of daggers to the dome, and that will send Ninjas and Pyjamas back on a defensive stance.
NIP go for this double aggro tank, excuse me, so they are not going to be able to fight SSG on the objective. Damba and Nara, too much staying power. They have to bully out the keep. They have to try and get the high ground. That's when you almost see Tyra really come into her own on this map, when she can just be the battle commander and just mark people up to be slain.
Good stun.
Great stun.
Second chance as well. That actually doesn't result in the kill for SSG, believe it or not, Nick. It's still Bonker who finds it. This has kind of been the story, right? They've done a lot of good things, but at the end of the day, the tides always shift towards the Ninjas, and it's just been so insurmountable. But now 4 members of SSG are pushing in. They're getting aggressive. Rachel throws the wall, but Alex up top, he gets actually feared away, and that's Midtow creating the space for his team. What can they do off of it?
That's a great fear. Got to capitalize on some kills.
Oh, big body
The
block.
Body block, whether he meant to or not, Commander's grab flips Atlas up and throws that big button away the ice shot.
Overpower, though. Diggy Dog has the bigger button this fight. And they're going to say, but
the battle of the
still
caboose.
alive. Battle of the caboose, you're right. But at this point, though, the only person who has really a say is FRZ God. He's got the damage, and he's got the mobility to chase down a lot of these low-health targets. Diggy Dog gets into a great spot, and that's the first kill. Can he turn it into 2?
I think you got to push. I mean, you're full HP.
I think they did it already.
When do you not push this FRZ? And he does track down Diggy Dog. Overtime started, and looks like it will finish in favor of SSG.
So, apparently, Atlas is thick.
He is. He's
Man.
some of the, one of the best frontliners to hold for as long as his cooldowns last, and then it's time for him to peace out. But Temporal Divide, it's a unique, uncounterable right now mechanic. There's no way you can destroy it. It just lasts for how long it lasts, and you got to hold that out.
Nice exile there as well, and he's gonna shut down Khan as well. As he tries to make forward, does need to hit that shot. Oh, beautiful, beautiful setback, and he sets back Bird's attempt at getting to the base, and that actually is very big. It's going to allow FRZ God to get some healing, get back into the fight. Couple of 520 daggers thanks to Cat Burglar. He's stealing all the lives of NIP as the push continues for Space Station.
1:39 on the clock, rounding the final corner, coming down the home stretch. This is better than it's ever looked for SSG. Exile. Already off to a good start with that ultimate. It's going to be a key factor to the success of SSG. Nobody's really tapped into the full potential of what that ultimate could do. SSG are the closest anyone's really come, I feel.
Great Dread Serpent as well, and a great Dread Serpent again in the earlier part of the round from Midtow, who's been one of the best performing supports in all Paladins this year. He has definitely deserved everything that's come to Space Station Gaming, and they're getting a 2-0. So things have started to shift, albeit it is feeling like it's a bit too late towards the Brazilians.
Keep this pace, though. I mean, got to get this win. Got to start somewhere, and SSG are off to a great start. The more time you give NIP to communicate, to figure out what's going wrong, what's going right for you, is more time you give them to finish that execution. It's 3-0 up right now. This victory would cement their place in the finals. I really like what they've drafted.
I just want to talk about that little moment because that's what the battering ram does, and it really delays. It really baits you in, and we've seen Slugshot for the Brazilians all the time. Ash has this great win rate. She does do well that way, but Diggy Dog is such a pest when he plays frontline, and he gets in your face. The damage isn't about how hard he hits, it's about how pervasive he is. And that was just a great showcase of how he just made FRZ God really expose himself in order to get that kill.
Oh, fighting for the high ground yet again. Every player is in the keep. Flanking around, Maeve trying to find an angle to get in here and get involved as well. Ultimates are flying at him.
Wow, great rewind there. The second chance will come through, but he's going to need more than that. Tinner finds a triple kill here in the fight, looking to make it a quadra. Can he get the Penta? Is Berg going to steal it? No, it's Bonker this time. And NIP with a very swift, decisive win. They're going to look to dismount and zone. They could probably hold enough here if Rachel can get off that mount.
I think so. And that comes down to NIP just have a nasty suite of ultimates. I mean, you look at Assert Dominance, Time and Space, Crossfire, Ice Storm, especially in that crowded environment that we just saw happen. I mean, that's a very, very tough team fight to beat.
FRZ guy gets a really good touch, though. And oh my god, they get Alex. And oh, this is bad news. Aries is behind the tree, but they're forcing Diggy Dog to commit, and he may die here. He's going for the commit. He's grabbed Aries with a big kill here. SSG with a huge retake, and now things have shifted.
Wow, that's incredible.
What?
It's comeback mechanic. It was a clean fight, and normally that is just a recipe for a payload, but not this time. 93%. Rashal throws up the wall. Down it goes. Look at the healing. Absolutely drowning in it. Rashal back to full HP.
Overpower missed as well. The stasis field is going to give him a nice bit of movement speed. Red Serpent again. Metal is a god, setting up so much of the pressure for them from the support role. This is what front lines are meant to do, but he's doing it from the back end, and Bird dives on because he's got to. It's SSG who take point 3 as well.
I mean, another exile. It's a great ultimate when used this way. They're exiling 2 people, quickly canceling it, and then getting on to the only target that's available. And oftentimes that is Bird. That's who they're trying to make available. 3-0 up now. Space Station Gaming down but not out. They fight against all odds here, and they are primed to take their first game of the set.
This is what we would have expected in games 1, 2, and 3, but it's happening in game 4, and it still may be too late, but right now it is right on time. The best thing about this is how fast it's happening, meaning that SSG can kind of go into the next game as if, you know, this wasn't too much of a labor. And they can really keep this momentum heading into it, but it's not over yet. Alex, Diggy Dog, they're not going to give up. They know they can clinch the set and move into the final, so they will be fighting tooth and nail to keep this one on the defense.
You ever say Maeve's damage reduction is not effective? I'm going to show you that clip right there.
I'm going to punch you in the face.
Just barely skates out by the skin of his teeth. Maeve is a tough little rapscallion, and she's not going to go down without a fight. Set back, trying to track down where that Ash would have actually ended up. Freeze God is clean. He manages to get the killing blow himself.
Great trade, though. I mean, the second chance as well. Could jump after the Prowl. And the damage from Cat Burglar, he's just been so efficient, hasn't he? Alex has to get the heck out of there. Diggy will die. Excuse me, Bonker will die on that con. They often rotate so often, and there's FRZ God yet again. So this is looking possible. Mittal, he's been such an MVP from the back line, setting up so much. He's going to do it again. Tenor, get back here, baby. I love it. This support is ballin'.
It's phenomenal for so many reasons. We'll break it down in a second. This fight still rages on.
Good heal.
The trade back is a 2-for-1. NIP off the back of Bonker's overpower managed to stabilize.
And that's the only thing that you could have done right there, because it was a great pickup onto the Hunter's Mark and the Firebomb and the damage from Tenor. All of those things really proving to be one of the most crucial aspects of Ninja's defense. But, you know, Nick Mittal has just been so good.
Phenomenal in the start of the round, keeping Rashal alive, hitting big stuns, huge fears there. The way Dread Serpent works, you're feared away from the the epicenter of the detonation. So it's important that the Dread Serpent projectile move past Tenor, detonate behind him to fear him back into danger, back into harm's way, right where Space Station want him. It was literally the pixel perfect Dread Serpent. And it was from a long way away. That is not easy to do. Mittal is showing why why they're cutting him the big check.
And now they have to body block. That's the only thing. Assert dominance. It wasn't ready. There was no way for him to go. Big shots. FRZ got with the no-look through time and space. Won't catch him. Alex goes down. SSG look like they're going to take this one. Rachao is low, but boy, oh boy, they deserve this win. Stone Keep goes their way. Headsets off. FRZ God needs a break. He's got 3 more games to win. He's thinking.
All right. Down, but not out. Now the mountain has to be climbed. They've got a long way to go. A single map going the way of NIP would close this set. I'm sure they're fine with that, but you lose another one in a row to SSG. That's where things start to get a little bit scary. Because if you you lose another one, then it's 3-3, and then you're really shook.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think what was so great is they got this fast. It's like done. Okay, now it's 3-1. And, it almost feels like that game didn't happen. They get a good confidence boost. NIP, some questions. I think it has to do also with the Atlas, and they let that off the leash. It definitely proved that it needs to be in the ban column for at least NIP unless they position themselves to get it. So it's going to be an interesting phase of bans and picks heading up into this next game. But we do have ourselves a Game 5, ladies and gentlemen. Send it back to the desk. Get ready for it.
No 4-0 for NIP today. Last 2 times were 4-0s. Not this one. Gormizer, we've never seen a 4-game reverse sweep from 3-0 down. But we have seen a 3-1 sweep where the team has won 3 straight, and that's where we're at now. Technically, they're at 3-1 there. We need to win 3 more. That's amazing logic, I think, in my opinion. But
does that mean if NIP lose the next 3, we have to say they blew a 3-1 lead, or?
Yes. No, the post-game stats. This one almost looked like NIP and Spacestation Gaming were reversed in this case. SSG handily beat NIP. Up to this point, NIP were winning 4-1, 4-1, 4-2. This one was just a clean 4-0. So even more convincingly than maybe they were losing in the past. Finally, Freeze God's performance just puts them up over the edge. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Midtow. He had some big plays in this one.
And I was actually telling you, I think the biggest thing about this game is that it's a 4-0, right? The fact that they're able to come through. And admittedly, it looks like it might go 4-1. It might be, kind of tied up. We would still be in the game, I think, right now, if it weren't for a Dread Serpent specifically from Midtow at the very end. Like, there were a lot of plays that were made here that it was the support making. And there's been a lot of times in these last couple of days that they've been playing that it has been Midtow setting his team up that's really given them a fight victory more than anything that the DPS has done, more than anything the front lines have done.
I think it's important, especially to look at. I mean, that Dread Serpent just goes on to, I think it's Diggy Dog on the con in the back line. And it's like when you're playing Damba, obviously your eyes get wide. You want to hit these big 3-4-man Dread Serpents, like turn the fight around entirely. But the decision-making from Midtow, all right, I only need to get rid of one guy here in this case. Let's throw it onto the con. Let's kill him off, and then our team not only is in a 4v5, but and again, up onto the high ground. Get rid of Bittner. You know that he's going to be able to tear into you. The crossfire from the high ground would have decimated likely Space Station's lineup. So just the one Dread Serpent just to get rid of Bittner, that's a huge impact. Midtow turned around a lot of games for them last time around. So coming up big here today, very important. They look to carry more of the same. You just have to look at it one game at a time. Jokes aside, memes aside, 3 game straight, 4 games straight, all that aside, you just have to say, all right, let's win this next one. Let's win this next one. Massages from Kresnik, I'm sure that'll help.
It'll do something. Whether or not, I don't know if it's helping, if it's hurting. It's hard to tell based on his expressions.
I just saw him say, ow.
Yeah,
so,
just that one hurts. Either way,
heavy-handed.
I think it's very important that that's a 4-0 more than anything. If that's a 4-3 and SSG win, then it's like, cool, you gotta win. Oh, man, now we're going to Game 5 and you're going to get decimated. The fact that it's a 4-0 and they've kind of expended some of the maps that they've lost on mostly to NIP, they are going probably into new territory. Granted, now it's going to be NIP territory since they get the next map pick. But you've showcased you can do it. Yeah. And that's all you really needed. You proved to yourself, you proved to everybody, we have the capability. We can find this very easily if we so choose. We just need everything to kind of come up our way when we do it.
We got to ride that momentum. I mean, again, it's sort of the same thing you were saying, but honestly, if you look at it from Space Station's perspective as well, if it's a 4-3, it's easy to get in your own head and say, well, we kind of copped out a win there. I mean, could have gone either way, but proving to yourself that you're not going down without a fight, especially today, so important. I mean, 3-1, you're still no room for error here against NIP, but if nothing else, that last game proves to you that you can do it. You can beat this team. You haven't been able to do it in the PPL, but you continue some of those performances. Freeze God has been one of the most consistent players through this set, where every single game he's had a almost double positive kill-death ratio. If not more so, or I should say kills to deaths, almost double positive every single game.
Oh, yes.
It's the rest of the team rising up to meet that, and that's exactly, I think, what they did here on Stonekeep.
And it's when they return to things that everyone's comfortable on. That's the biggest thing, is like comfort picks pay dividends. Sometimes it might not be the best best draft at the end of the day, but you're comfortable. You can play these, and you can play these. They didn't have a bad draft. I don't think NIP had a bad draft, and I think this is one that teeters on the edge. How does Eevee perform? How does Maeve perform? And there were some times where Alex was blowing things out of the park. He was dealing a lot of damage, but there were also times where either some body blocks came through or he was controlled. He got killed off early. Like something happened to him where that Eevee just would not quite lock down, I think, everybody that they had planned to. And so that fell apart. And I think that's like NIP. Tyra, she's going to help, but she's not your carry. Genos, Ash, Khan, they're all going to help, but they're not your carry. Eevee had to perform exceedingly well there, or else they don't win.
Well, the team was almost built around Eevee. They were almost all in on Eevee that time around. And again, I think you said it well. It's like it's not like Alex had a bad game, but you're really leaning on Alex to come up big in this case. 4 maps gone, technically 8 if you count bans. Jaguar Falls is where we'll fall, for map number 5 here as we dive into picks and bans. I think, like, game 1, SSG, I wouldn't say shot themselves in the foot, but the draft was so much in favor of NIP's play style that one was almost done before it started. It's really important, I think, to continue drafting the way they did last game. I mean, that's easy to say when they win 4-0, but not putting themselves behind straight out of the draft is so important here in this set, because NIP, they're a team that even one small advantage, they'll take advantage of and make you pay for it. So well played to SSG in their draft. Last game, getting themselves in a good composition. The Atlas, notably, was a big turnaround for them. And I was questioning, was getting the Atlas worth trading out the Ashe Con for on the opposite side, and it turns out it was.
I'm wondering if Leon is going to get banned again, though.
Tyra is.
I mean, well, yeah, so you get that. I actually think that's a good call. Jag Falls is a good map for Tyra, and SSG like running Tyra on Jag Falls. It's just those two things go in tandem. But last time they banned the Leon Torvald. Drogoz gets banned along with Makoa. If you don't ban Makoa here, NIP are going to pick it. That's the thing that's like the threat, and I think the hardest decision that you have to make is SSG.
It's Makoa Atlas right now. The 2 are on the board. Do you ban out a flex to keep one of the 2 open? Because if you ban out Atlas, they're going to get Makoa. If you ban out Makoa, they're going to get Atlas, and you're not going to have one or the other. I almost think you have to ban out a flex.
And just hope to get one.
And I love it. So this opens the door. NIP, you would think, and I think this is a safe bet, don't let both Atlas and Makoa go through. They'll get one or the other. And now you're maybe getting either Atlas or Makoa and Ashe if you want it on the opposite side. So well thought out here from Spacestation Gaming. They lean the way of Makoa. Diggy Dog can change games. Anyone can really change a game with how strong Makoa is.
And are unwanted.
They're going to go with the Inara.
They have to go
Atlas.
We're
only getting started.
Ashe still around for NIP. This is going to be a strong frontline game, though.
And what I like about this is, again, with the Barrack ban, you play not only Makoa and Atlas are coming through, so no matter what, we get one.
Yeah.
But you also, with that Inara pick, say, cool, you're going to have to go Fernando if you want a point tank. If you want someone that is dedicated point tank, you have to lean a little deeper. I mean, maybe here's the time we see NIP come pull out something like a Terminus, but we've only seen one team do it. It was SSG, and here's a spoiler. It did not look good any of the times that it has been brought out. Terminus just has not held his own at all.
It was SSG
this split.
both times.
And I think like the way they're playing it is very smart because it's forcing you to go a little bit deeper. Ashe actually is still available as well.
Yep.
And Makoa Ashe, even though there's not one that is quote unquote dedicated point tank, both of them can play the point. Both of them can play the side. And admittedly, that amount of flexibility has probably been the strongest things for NIP.
Let's fight.
I think it's smart taking Ashe because SSG, I think, would have been okay to go triple tank, maybe even if Ashe were still available. Getting Makoa, Ashe, and Pip, very good here. Bittner has been kind of leaning into the Leon Cassie role here, leaving Alex open to some of the flankers and blasters, more of that traditional flex role that he fills. I imagine this will be a Pip here for Bittner. Jaguar Falls, NIP, and Pip. I don't know if you can name a more dynamic trio. It's going to be the Cassie here for the first damage dealer from SSG. Pick number 5, open for a little bit of flexibility, but Makoa Atlas, notably, looking at this draft, making their way in.
I'm going to be honest. Makoa, Pip, and Ashe. I don't even have to tell you a team behind that. That's a hard-hitting three-man swing.
You're right. I mean, Atlas is strong.
But is he that strong?
Right.
I think is the big question. And NIP, like, when it's NIP playing those as well, that's going to be the big thing. Actually, it's going to be interesting to see what Bonker flexes onto, what Diggy plays, because both of them have played Ashe. Both of them have played Makoa in the past. I mean, last game we had Bonker on the con, Diggy was on the Ashe, so maybe they're going to kind of keep Diggy playing Ashe just because he's in the zone. They get a little damage amp in here, probably another really, really strong pick. Although this time, probably not Bittner, probably Alex on that one.
Yep. I mean,
5 power picks for NIP.
We can't, overstate enough how flexible NIP are, because it's been Bittner on the Leon the entire time, but this is a map where he excels on the Pip. Alex can fill that Leon role. just as well. So you're right. You'd think it would be Alex on the Leon, Bittner on the Pip, but you're right. 5 power picks. Makoa, Pip, Ashe, Furia, Leon. The moment that Inflame comes out, Assert Dominance, Ancient Rage, Evil Mojo, they got a brilliant team fighting composition here. Space Station on the opposite side have a good building, I would say, of ultimates. I mean, some good exiles onto the proper targets, tilt things in your favor. Just do not allow NIP to play the game. They're going to round things out with an Eevee. Backs still against the wall. NIP up 3-1. SSG cannot drop another map. Do you think that NIP just have too strong of a composition, though?
I actually, I think NIP's composition is going to not play itself, but it's going to work out without any crazy hinges. Like, it's not like, oh, if this person performs, everything they win. If this person doesn't, they lose. Any 4 of them outside of Furia can carry. Furia can still get multi-kills if she needs to. NIP will be able to just kind of let the draft do its thing. It will flourish. Sadak just got a warm-up game on Atlas, but I'm still putting the pressure on him. It's him and Freeze God. If they, on Atlas and Eevee, do incredibly well like they have been, then this is SSG's game.
Well, SSG have one of the best frontline duos in this league. They're going to have their hands full this time around, and Makoa's on the side of NIP. Game 5. Can SSG do it again? Let's find out.
Jaguar Falls is where we will enter for what could be the last game of Space Station's time here at the MSI. And they've got a hell of a composition to go up against. And we'll say it is going to be some competition, that's for sure. It's always scary when you have a Makoa on the other side.
And Tenor got Pip. It's always something I look out for on Jaguar Falls, because I don't know that he's ever lost with Pip all season long.
I don't know if he has.
It's just, and SSG, I'm pretty sure we're the only team to ban it out against them. I think it only happened like 1 time. But man, Tenor on this character, on this map,
so
super
efficient.
impactful. And then you look at the rest of what they bring, and it's like, man, this just gets scarier and scarier. SSG, they're going to have to kind of hold control of the objective. They have a really good, Damba Nara to do it with, Atlas to shut stuff down. I'm a big, big fat question mark. You guys know I love Eevee, but I don't know about her on Jaguar Falls. It's not my favorite map for her.
I don't know either. I mean, this is such a great spot for him, but they've got some burst mobility on a lot of their characters, and everyone can kind of get away from this Pip once, but twice, that's the question. Ares with a big pop-off there at 63% for Space Station. They can back off and just take these fights appropriately. Get some numbers back there. Alex, though, takes down Ares. Who's going to go into the backline? Rachao, where's the push? 710 L, 310. The shield goes up. Rachao can't get anything.
There it is. The
Good
wall
wall
goes up. He forces everyone out. That
That'll
might
do.
just seal the point.
That's great.
Walker can't get there. Tenor's in. Tenor's out. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of SSG. The overtime starting and likely to end in favor of Black and Gold.
And honestly, just such great play from Rachao, getting around that corner fast enough just in case the Enlightenment went his way. You could tell how hard it is to just take down a Leviathan Makoa by himself. But they do end up finally getting the trade. SSG grabbing the first point in this game. The Pip not looking too dominant.
Oh, look at that. He was at like 40-something% ultimate charge as well, so
He didn't get a lot of
Tenor
damage.
he could not find anything. His first life, he got blown up, to be honest. He was pretty healthy. I was not concerned for his life, and then he got hit by a fully charged Atlas shot and a burst combo from Cassie at basically the same time and just evaporated. So that one caught me off guard. I'm sure it caught him off guard as well. His next life was just trying to scramble to pick up the pieces. NIP were not able to use any of their super impactful ultimates. I feel like once ultimates are in play in the second, third, fourth, however many rounds it takes, this is going to be a very, very different fight.
I honestly am just really impressed as well by Ares. This is a great sign. Diggy Dog is locked in. Doesn't quite have his ultimate yet, so Ancient Rage is not on the table. He's getting healed by Bird, but that may not be enough. He misses the hook as well, or then Guard actually is going to immune it, and the Inflame happens, but it's just too late. Alex with a huge trade onto Ares, but Rachao, meanwhile, is still on the point.
Freeze God gets taken down as well. This kill feed is all blue. It's all Alex this time around. Last shots here. Probably not going to happen. Jumps up over the wall, grabs the kill right as Inara tries to jump off of the map. Let's take a look at damage numbers, though, after this first fight. Got a little time to play with now. Rachao is actually in second place, just below Alex. Tenor sitting about middle of the pack right now, right above Makoa and Alex.
Alex 6-1, a lot of the killing blows there, but what's nice is that
That's a good sign.
FRZ God, Ares, Midtow, they've all contributed some damage and some kills here on the board, so it's not just solo perspective that's really doing the deed. Beautiful setback as well on the Deja Vu, and the Exile perfectly onto Tenor. One of the ways to deal with that Pip is just to shut him down, make sure he can't do anything in the fight.
It's a tough mechanic to play against. Resilience will have to be a factor later on. Bird struggling to keep the ninjas alive at the
Gotta get
moment.
Alex.
Reckless abandon. He gets to the back line. He assassinates the support. He's been doing that so well this whole set. All goes up as SSG just trying to cut their losses and get out.
And he really is going so deep. He is diving, and that's something that they've got to, I think, apply the similar type of pressure onto the back line of NIP. That will force Alex to be so forward that the rest of SSG can take care of him, and then if FRZ God can stay alive, they will be able to regroup his 5. Right now, that is a rough one as the Dread Serpent is used and nothing gets got.
I didn't see anyone running in for the fear of their life. Two more blue kills in the feed. One more shot would do it. Set pack makes it a 2-for-1.
It's good.
But it's in favor of the defense. Even trades are in favor of the defense, so you best believe positive trades will be in favor of the defense.
Space Station, good start, but NIP, really good hold. Alex started to pick up steam in that last part of the round. He's most likely around 8-2 at this point. Very, very good showcase on the Leon. But it's really about this Makoa. I mean, Kresnik, in his own words, and we've said it multiple times now, you get Makoa, obviously, you either win or you underperform.
Win hard or lose hard, man. Yeah. It's the same thing we bring up his win rate a lot of times. Like, he's been at the top of the food chain in competitive play for so long. But when you look at the general population win rate of Makoa, it's honestly the lowest of all the frontliners because he relies so heavily on that skill shot. You can't hit the dredge anchor. You're probably not going to hit a lot of your weapon shots either. He's a very, very skill shot intensive character.
And he's doing a great job of pressuring here. 720, look at that. I mean, that is just part of the Inflame. And she is going to be really let off the leash whenever that ultimate is activated from Bird. Mitao, though, with a great stun to shut him down. That man is not somebody to be trifled with.
Yeah, he wants this win, man. He wants to stay alive in this set. NIP trying to put this one away. Bleeding a little bit now after that hefty 4-0 on Stunky. But I like that you brought up that it was a 4-0 because a lot of times that can just be better for your overall mindset. You just kind of like, well, okay, that didn't work. What we tried. You know, it wasn't like this heart-wrenching 4-3 20-minute loss that could have maybe been brought. If this happened, then we would have won this game. We would have been moving on. We would have been chilling, waiting for finals.
And it's a gimme game. Like, NIP can lose. They don't really care. 4-0 makes it even better. Okay, back to the drawing board. Same thing for SSG. Okay, we're not done yet. Now we got to really keep focused up. But if we win one more, then we're back in the set, right? I mean, if you're 3-2, I think you feel confident. Even though you're looking for the reverse sweep, you're like, well, now just one more game and we tie it, and then we're game 7, and then anybody can win that. So this is how that momentum starts to build. Round 1 was good, but they have not been able to deal with on the defense the Pip, the Makoa, and the Furia, especially helping that Alex Leon to get going. So they'll have to make an adjustment here.
No Exile, no Dread Serpent, everything for NIP. This is what I wanted to see. How does this fight change?
Big dive.
Diggy Dog straight to the back line. You already knew that was coming.
You need big game, though. That's what has to happen here. It's a really good collapse by SSG. They've all gone back, and Ares, he's actually the one who's getting hunted down, Diggy Dog, by himself, and he has used his Ancient Rage. So that is at least going to buy some time, but Bird should go down here. Rachel needs to pick up this kill. There's no reason Bird needs to stay alive,
Bird,
and he will fall thanks to Rachel, but Diggy Dog will arrive just in time. All that, and really, it's just 27% on the point.
Yeah, not a lot grabbed on the objective. Still on Enlightenment, still sitting on Evil Mojo as well. 43% back. Bonker got a lot done in that fight. He's already back to half charge on Assert Dominance. Well done, well played. Assert Point Tank. And Bird got a lot of shielding. I mean, you could see NIP throughout the Shell Shield and the Siege Shield to try and keep him safe. Diggy Dog's in a rough spot now.
Oh, boy.
Bonker rotates in. Tag team.
Yeah. Really good play from them. I love the way that they're keeping this very, very cordial. All right, your turn? No, my turn now. Thank you so much, sir. 78% and counting. Alex doing so much for this team. NIP looking to seal the deal here. Woo! Big time Enlightenment. Oh, good ice block from FRZ God. Shuts it down and a big shot as well. But it's still NIP who come away the victors on this fight.
Nicely done there. Having the Enlightenment, having the Evil Mojo. It's a perfectly constructed team fight. I mean, Inflame with Assert Dominance and Ancient Rage to win the first one. SSG are kind of scrambling, trying to get back in position, so you only need two kind of, you know, lesser potency ultimates to win that follow-up team fight, and that's all she wrote on this one. Offense now for NIP. Nobody's winning the game. Nobody's losing the game in this round. We will see another round of play guaranteed.
Yeah.
Which is cool because a lot of these control ultimates for SSG are going to start to fall off later. I think this game only gets easier from NIP from here on out.
And honestly, what's interesting is that I feel like that last round was not necessarily the way it should go, because I think Ares got caught in the dark room, and unfortunately he was almost last to get involved in that fight. He was kind of chasing Diggy as he had gone into the back line trying to get the Tau, but he needs to be the first one there with that big game. That's the one thing that will dissuade Diggy, even with Ancient Rage, a full aggressive dive. He can only last 3 or 4 shots from Cassie if she does get that disengage onto him, so it's got to be something to prepare for.
Flames out for SSG, but they're losing it all across the board. I mean, it's a 3-for-1. Rochelle almost manages to pick up Ash, but back inside of the pip, you see that big juicy heal come through.
That shoulder bash, man.
And now the tables have turned.
Battering Ram, I think, is just the way NIP play for sure. It's the best for them, but I just find that it's just so good in competitive play, because that heal, I mean, it's another life on the Ashe. It's almost like the Drogoz Dragon Punch conversation where, okay, you don't hit your Dragon Punch, you get 30% back, but then you're still Drogoz. You get all these fire spits, you get salvos, you get direct rockets. That's more of an impact over the course of this fight than just one Dragon Punch sometimes. And that is just the beauty of that legendary. Big shots from the impulse of Cassie, but she's not going to be able to finish him off with that blast shot.
Coming down the home stretch here, this is the toughest part of Jaguar Falls to break. Big ultimates are available if the gentlemen of NIP want to spend them.
I think it's worth.
Could be potentially 19 seconds on the clock. People starting to fall lower. They do want to spend. The answer is yes. The green light has been signaled, and now NIP are making their move.
You need Ares. That's what you need right here. He's got to come up big. He's got to find Diggy. He's got to have that disengage onto him. It will last throughout the Ancient Rage, and so he's got to be preemptive around it. Look at this rotation. Tinner, he's in a good spot, but he does take some damage after the heal. Midtown now will go, but it's the reload. It's going to happen just soon enough.
Wow.
They won't even need to use ults here. Oh my, NIP
Jeez.
1 point away from moving to the finals.
That is not the way you want to see that one go. That is a incredibly efficient offense there. Only assert dominance spent. It's already a third of the way charged. NIP, they are primed to go to the finals, baby. This will be the first one for Diggy. He's playing like he wants it. In and out of the Ancient Rage to make sure he pushes down and taking his time on that cannonball and make sure he doesn't miss the final shot in his clip. Small little min-max here. Try to save his bird lives as well.
He does.
You can see he gets in there, drops the shell shield. Walker dropped the shield as well. I just think Bird was a little bit flustered in that situation.
So much of that shifted on the fact that they dove the support. So if you could see, there's burst mobility on FRZ God. He can get in and out. He's worried about getting punished, but you're going to have to do it, and everyone's going to have to rotate. You cannot open up these channels for Diggy to get through to your backline. That's going to be the big key. And you also have Atlas, who has a setback. He should be able to shut that down. Rachao no longer serving his defense. He's going to throw the Warders Field. Big stun and a wall, almost saving his life. Shield comes through. Seismic crash as well. They want to get the pip. They may just get the Ancient Rage, and so we'll see what can happen. Bonker may go down, but a good resilience, it's not enough.
This is not good for NIP. They're
Video.
not getting value for their ultimates. Finally, they get one back. And now the stun is good, but Midtown is in the corner, baby. Alex wins that trade. Sadak comes in to try and salvage this.
Should be it.
It's a nice
That's
even
two.
trade across the board. And immuned out CC immunity.
Got him.
The patch coming through for an R.
See, Alex, there's no way. There's no way, right? There's no way. Alex, what? He gets Rachao, but Sadak is there, but Sadak's busy with someone else. Alex makes it out alive. SSG are in trouble here. They do not have any ultimates to play around with. NIP don't either, but Alex is alive in a great position, and they lose Sadak. Oh no, could this be it?
There it is. We'll have to see 60% to 58%. Comeback mechanics still enabled for SSG.
Oh, no.
So if they could just get a small window, that's all they need. But that window is closing rapidly. 1, 2, 3. They all fall down. All the King's horses and all the King's men.
Couldn't put
this
Brazil
team
back together again.
man.
Oh no.
Diggy Dog,
NIP.
cheers, man. His first international final, baby.
Look at that. The appreciation of the moment should not go without discussion, because he has gone so far, literally traveling distances to live in Sweden with Bird, to be able to reach this moment. And you talk about a season where they went 13-1, only one loss, the most dominant team we've almost ever seen in any pro league season over the course of 14 games. And they come here and you still got to play. You still got to prove it's anybody's game still.
Love it.
And they finally have punched their ticket to the finals. This is huge for so many of them. Tenner's been there before, so has Bird. And Bonker, of course. They've won. But
Diggy's the most excited. Alex is Alex, so it's his first final, but he's not going to show it.
He's
Diggy
calm.
Dog is more than happy to wear that emotion on his sleeve. Tenner's been here before, and that's the next big story. This is, Diggy Dog has officially raised his bar. Tenner, been here plenty of times, and unfortunately has
Still
not
gotta
been
win.
able to cross that finish line. He is tiptoeing on it now. It's time to get that win and close this tournament.
I mean, it's big. NIP have a huge story here, and we don't know who's going to face them, but it'll be old teammates. It'll be rivals. It'll be a very interesting finals. But we've got one more semi to go to. Let's send it back to the Desto to break it down. NIP, they're going to the ship.
Semifinal number 1 in the books. They haven't crossed the finish line yet. Their toes are on it. 4-1 convincing win over SSG to move on to the finals here. Number 1's in the book, Score Miser. NIP, they're looking clean. They're looking consistent. They're looking strong, aggressive. I mean, every superlative you can throw their way, they're looking at today. They look like they want to win MSI.
And for the first time, a pip game for Bittner on Jag Falls wasn't just the Bittner show. Alex actually was the one who was showing up the most here. Diggy did incredible. Obviously,
Everyone
Bittner
did. Oh
did
my.
incredible. Bonker did bonker things when it came down to it. But everyone's really positive. And when you're looking at it, Alex doing the amount of damage he did, Bittner, and them being able to kind of collapse and close all the damage out. Like, this was 2 power picks for an IP, but 2 picks that always work well on Jag Falls. There's not enough bans in the world here for SSG to make NIP feel uncomfortable on this map.
And I mean, even if the most of the kills, most of the damage, even by far going the way of Alex, some individual plays from Bittner really turned this one around. A triple kill to get this one pushed in, and this is so important. He's making SSG, I should say, focus on a little bit too much, but what it does do is saves their ultimates. Because Bittner flanks, and granted, the rest of NIP are doing what they need to do on the front line there, Bittner can wrap around the backside, and nobody can contest him. The payload's about to move in. We can't turn and look at Bittner. We got to focus on that. And he makes full use of that time and space. Not the ultimate, of course, but literally time and space. Gets a triple kill, pushes it in. And Gord, now we're moving down to the upset semifinal. And by that I mean Penta 3-0'd Na'Vi, which you'd consider an upset. And then looking at seeding-wise as well, 3-1 Virtus Pro over Envy. That's an upset, but Virtus Pro, an emotional team feeling very good. This is going to be a fun one, I think.
Virtus Pro, I feel like historically, like it's one of those teams, if you lose one set, you probably lose the next one because you're still kind of in your own head. Or it's hit or miss the next day because you're either going to double down and work harder, or you're going to be feeling a little more doubtful about it. Today, I'm interested to see how they're doing because they got that victory yesterday. I think a lot of the teams, especially coming up in the day and seeing what NIP might be able to do, this is going to be a very crucial set.
Well, we'll get to jump to that, but first let's jump down to the big winners of our first semifinal for an interview.
Well, we're here with Bonker and Bird. You guys, I've been here before in many ways, even at a bigger stage with HRX, and have already gotten your wins. But you're here now after a crazy season where it was almost some of the most excellent Paladins we've seen over the course of a 14-game stretch. One, I want to say, how does it feel coming through? What was your thought process going on through this set? And how does it feel? What's your motivation for winning this tournament here as the MSI?
I mean, motivation is, well, we haven't won a tournament in a while, especially not first place. So, at least for me and Bonker. So that's the main motivation, and keeping the kind of the streak going. I mean, we lost a set against Na'Vi, but if you really consider that a loss.
You guys are the core of and the heart and the soul, I think, of this NIP roster, and you've been there through every iteration of this team. What makes them what makes you guys different this season? Why were you third place and struggling before, and why has this team come together so strongly this time around?
I think it's mainly friendship, but it's also about everyone being on the same page.
Aww.
Like, we're all super aggressive in the team. Everybody want to do the same thing. There's no, even if we want to do different things, sometimes everybody's mainly want to be aggressive, push.
So a big part of what makes a team successful is kind of behind the scenes. I think that when the first iteration of NIP came around with Sheepa and Perdo and this and a lot of this gang as well, everybody was just terrified of that roster. But you guys ended up about third place. So Was that iteration of NIP not necessarily on the same page and not wanting to play the game as much, maybe outside of scrims and things like that? Is that a part of what makes this squad so strong?
I think it's just it goes for any sport or any game or anything really. Superstar rosters just tend to not work for whatever reason. Different reasons every time, but they just don't really work. So I think more importantly is you find players that actually fit together in game, out of game, wherever.
Lastly, I want to just get your thoughts. Obviously, there's going to be former teammates on either side for all of you, whether it's Fishy and Tinner in their Fnatic days. One of them's going to want to win. Or it could be Simsy, who had a brief stint with NIP and obviously ended up getting replaced by Diggy, who's with you guys. Is there anyone that you expect to come out and be facing in the final? Is there any team that you'd hope to actually play?
I think Penta is going to win, but I want to play VP in the finals.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We're just going to have to wait and watch. That set is coming up, the second semifinal of the day, Virtus Pro versus Penta. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back at it.